Hey everybody, you're tuning in to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. Good job being here, and good job to Anetter63 over on Twitch for first comment of the day. You did it! Woo! All right, folks, we're going to get the show started in just a second here. A little bit of a late start today, but not too bad. But I do want to remind y'all to head on over to CanaryCry.Party. That's right, CanaryCry.Party. It's a real URL. You can go to it. You should. It has all the links that you need to secure your live streaming experience for Canary Cry News Talk. Remember, YouTube has been known to just cut the stream midstream, as well as delete videos after the fact. And before you go ahead and email us about that, why don't you just visit CanaryCry.Party? It's got all the links to the Odyssey, the Rumble, the Twitch, the YouTube, the DLive, all the cool places that you can get in touch with the content you desire. And remember, you can also become a producer of the show over there. We got a quick way to do that. And even better, you can sign up for the newsletter, where every week you will receive an email with all of these sources that we use for the show, as well as links to the videos. It's a great way for us to decentralize the sources for all of our shows, and you can use them in your real life, in your real conversations with people you're having. You know, if the type, they don't want to hear anything you have to say unless you've got a mainstream resource. Well, that's what we got, baby. We got all the mainstream resources to back up what we're saying on the show. So go over there, CanaryCry.Party, hit join the newsletter, and do it. Other than that, remember to stay hydrated, buckle your seatbelts. We got a great show for you. Let's get going.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is November 5th. Oh, remember, everybody, 2021. This is episode 407. And today, Robo Murder Genesis, or Robo Murder Genesis. And razzle dazzle, I'm your best buddy Basil.
And this is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And Basil, do you have anything? Because I want to jump right in. I'm very eager.
You want to jump right in?
Well, actually, hold on. It's Friday. All right.
Friday.
I am so triggered by that.
Friday.
I just can't handle it.
Friday.
The bath salt guy.
I got to be honest. I think hearing ourselves in a jingle for the Friday replacement jingle triggers me. So I don't know that this is working for me, but...
You know what's weird? I thought that you saying that just now was part of the jingle, because you said the exact same thing last episode when we played the jingle when it came in. Was that real? Was that live? Was that you live saying that?
What do you mean, was that me live? Part of it was live, part of it was the jingle.
No, I know the jingle, but you saying you're triggered by it. That was not in the jingle.
No, that was not in the jingle. That's
okay.
Happening in real time.
You said almost the exact same thing word for word last time we played it. Yeah, no, I understand. Well, there you go. We can keep playing with the Friday thing. No matter what, everybody's getting triggered around here.
I know.
What else was the guy? Oh, just because we're going to mention it, Ashley Biden is trending, and hashtag thank you Biden, or thank you Brandon is trending. The Democrats are taking it back, baby. Hashtag thank you Brandon. And it's a hilarious hashtag to kind of zoom through on Twitter. It's just Democratic operatives mainly, blue check marks, high follower count people saying things like, LOL, we always ruin their moronic and childish slogans. Hashtag thank you, Brandon. Oh, Scott Dworkin. LOL, You always ruin their moronic, childish slogans and hijacking the GOP's dumb Brandon phrase to celebrate the job report numbers is number one. Hashtag thank you, Brandon.
That's the Brooklyn dad defiant, isn't he? Getting paid by some Democrats or whatever.
He's a full-on operative. He's not he's not just some guy. He is a full-on Democratic established operative. And then bragging about how it's trending. Yeah, that's what happens when you pay all your blue check mark operatives to tweet about it. Yeah. And it's hilarious. They're just like, there's such an exuberant feeling of victory among these. We did it. We killed. I even forget what was the first one? Let's go, Brandon. Killed Let's Go, Brandon with our hashtag thank you, Brandon.
Oh, great. Yeah. Fun.
Cool. Good job, guys. What a wonderful website Twitter is.
I think people are going to run away and enter the Metaverse, but the Metaverse isn't just one big place. We have a quick update on the Metaverse here.
Welcome to the Metaverse.
And this is tech.co. Metaverse teams Microsoft enters the race to build a virtual reality. So there you go. Microsoft also competing with Facebook. There's a couple stories surrounding this. There's I guess it was a former Google. Was it former Google? Somebody, I can't remember. Basically said like, oh, the Metaverse that Facebook's trying, it's not going to work. And then
not just not going to work. He was saying it's the worst thing for humanity.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah. And well, in this case, this is Microsoft, and they're going to create more of like the business version of the Metaverse, the corporate meeting place or whatever. But if it's anything like the culture they have there, then this is the kind of thing that you can expect to see. But this is in the flesh here of some Microsoft broadcast.
Hello, everyone. I'm Natalie Gadilla. I'm a Caucasian woman with long blonde hair, and I go by she, her. I'm a product marketing lead here at Microsoft and co-host of the podcast Security Unlocked with this guy.
Yes, that would be me. Hello, everyone. I'm Nick Fillingham. I'm a Caucasian man with glasses and a beard. I go by he, him, and I'm a security evangelist here at Microsoft. We are so excited to...
Security evangelist? That's an interesting job position.
That's fine. I'm wondering why... to build upon the what is it, pronoun declarations that the woke have to do now, you now have to describe your physical appearance.
Blonde hair, long
I'm a
blonde
white
hair.
man with I'm a white woman with a long blonde hair. What is the purpose of this?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think maybe in the business world, in the Microsoft Metaverse, you gotta show your real self. Not
is this for like
reality.
audio, just for audio listeners or something? They're like,
this
here,
is full video.
Just so you know. No, I know you are playing a clip. I'm saying the concept of describing your physical appearance. Is this like a new woke thing? Like we have to describe what you look like so people know how to think about you in social justice terms.
Oh, probably,
so they can place your privilege without having to see you.
Yeah, you gotta play. You show your card, and then you can. They will assess you accordingly. The one thing the guy over here didn't mention is that he has the Yondu haircut from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, he's got a short little mohawk thing.
Yeah. Why don't you say that? That's kind of an important part of the look.
Yes, that's definitely going to affect how I think about you, sir.
I am completely offended he didn't mention that he's got the Yondu haircut. That is part of his privilege.
He's got mohawk privilege. He's a corporate shill who is allowed to have a mohawk. You think anybody else with a mohawk would be able to get a corporate job as a security evangelist?
Evangelist.
He's got to be a white man with Australian accent or something with a mohawk.
Yeah. Well, I just want to take the opportunity to thank all of our producers because I don't know. I wouldn't make it in this kind of environment here. If we had to say stuff like that every time we came on air or did something publicly.
Well, this is what getting wrapped up in corporate interests gets you. That's why we're on the value for value model, because it's only a matter of time before being brand friendly or being able to play ads on your podcast or something. You'll have to declare your privilege points beforehand. Yeah, and that's going to be very confusing for me. I'm a white male with googly eyes. I got googly eye privilege. This brings up, I wanted to mention. Yeah. No, I'll mention it at the break. Never mind. Okay. All right. Yeah, continue.
Well, we have a theme building here. A lot of, because there's a lot of podcasts out there that cover politics and a lot of the things in the news, and we'll cover everything or anything on this show. But there's we have our bread and butter, and that has to do with robots and technology, transhumanism and genetics in the future and Bible prophecy and all that kind of stuff. And it just feels like a lot of what we've talked about, jokingly, but also reporting on what's out there. I feel like Hollywood just sort of jacks the plot,
Year by year. Yeah. Year by year, they literally just take storylines of the CanaryCry-verse. Yeah. And make big blockbuster movies about it.
Yeah. So Tom Hanks is featured in this film called Finch on Apple TV. And have you seen it, Basil? Have you seen the movie?
I watched it, yes.
Oh, you did?
I have not seen the movie. No, I saw the trailer.
The trailer, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all based on climate change and the whole world being not uninhabitable, but just people living in the shadows and destruction of cities and stuff like that. And Tom Hanks plays a little engineer guy. And there's a whole... let me just read this article here from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, because they're awesome at reviewing films.
Sounds wonderful.
Finch easily finds its humanity. And it says here, I won't read the whole thing, just a little bit here. Most of the time with movies, all you have to say is Tom Hanks, and I'm in. But throw in a cute little dog and a silly robot trying to discover its own humanity in the apocalypse, I'm double in. And that's the lovely basic premise of Finch.
Double in, like double jabbed.
Yep. The movie seems like an odd combination of WALL-E and The Day After Tomorrow, and I mean that in the best way possible.
You know what's funny? Yeah. Real quick, just because I was going to mention that. What did he mention? He mentioned WALL-E and Day After Tomorrow.
The Day After Tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, what immediately came to my mind for the elevator pitch for this movie was I Am Legend meets Chappie.
Ah, yes.
I think mine's better.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see the movie to really know.
We'll see.
Chappie didn't really get the kind of attention I thought that people thought. There's a lot of hype behind it.
It was too early.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it was too early for the theme. Yeah. Kind of like Us.
Hanks can do a lot of things, but even he probably wouldn't be most people's first pick for a big science fiction film like this. Most fans might imagine Will Smith or Chris Pratt as one of the last humans alive on the planet. But Hanks does a brilliant job of playing a grizzled old engineer who has cobbled together a continued survival on a planet cooked by ultraviolet radiation and massive storms. The film is set not too far in the future. It opens with Finch, Hanks, scrounging for supplies while humming American Pie in an abandoned grocery store. He's wearing this homemade astronaut suit, complete with helmet and visor to protect him from 150-degree temps in the sunlight that'll scorch his skin in seconds, thanks to holes in the ozone layer. This is our future. We will be living this if we do not do something.
150 degrees, that is less than most saunas. You're not going to scorch your skin immediately in 150 degrees, but that doesn't count the UV rays.
Celsius. Get with the program.
Is it Celsius?
I don't know. It doesn't say, but I don't know.
Okay, well, stop making up the program.
Oh, I know, but if they're trying to make it scary, then they would make it Celsius.
Celsius is always scarier. Yeah. Ooh, it's the European system. It's the thermostat numbers that the rest of the world uses. It's very spooky to Americans.
Accompanying Finch is a little rover that has eyes, 4 wheels, a basket, and a robot arm.
Bum, bum, bum.
It's named Dewey. and it's the cutest little helper. So it goes into a whole bunch more stuff here, but we don't need to do that. The point being, apocalyptic man with dog and robot arm pet.
You know, that's weird that they described it that way, because in the trailer, it's not a little robot with wheels. It's a humanoid chappy-like robot.
Yeah, and it's talking and
I don't know
silly.
what this person saw, but the trailer clearly shows an iRobot type upward bipedal humanoid robot.
Right.
But that's not the most important point, I guess. But yeah, I actually do want to see this. It looks pretty interesting. If nothing else, I'd need to do it to collect evidence for my litigation on Hollywood once they get caught for stealing all of our storylines.
Yeah. Well, I think the one thing they have on us with this particular plot is the whole climate change destruction. Although it's the obvious play. You know, if you're going to do something in Hollywood, you have to start with, imagine this not so distant future when climate change has ruined the world because we did not act. You know, it just plays right into the whole narrative there.
It's an interesting mix, though, and I think they ran some polls on this because the biggest part of the destruction was a solar flare.
Solar flare, right. That's
which
right.
is an uncontrollable, flare from the sun that has nothing to do with climate change.
Oh, no,
nothing we're doing here is
it's
affecting the sun.
Depends on who you ask, because some might say that, Gaia was upset and, she summoned the sun god to give a little judgment.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you got me there.
We didn't
literally cannot argue with that, Gonzo. All right. Well, speaking of which, let's check in. We got sort of a Friday Flippy extravaganza we want to go through today, so let's do it.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, for those who are new to the show, Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, just how there's nothing we can do about it. We got 3 Flippy updates for you today, and don't worry. You'll be we're doing it in ascending, terrifying order. So we're going to be starting with the San Antonio Report.org, and we've got a headline here: "Not science fiction." Yeah, I feel like. Yeah, anyways, not science fiction. Giant laser-wielding robot shown off at Port San Antonio. The site of the 72-foot-tall, 67-ton robot build as the largest industrial robot in the world wowed a crowd of robotics enthusiasts, Dutch officials, tech startup founders, and even children brought by parents. Wow, they really just checked all the boxes.
They were brought by parents, huh? They didn't just wander in
I hope
randomly.
They weren't just sort of Fagan's boys who had wandered off the streets. Okay.
Interesting.
Zyrek, a Netherlands-based company, showcased its gargantuan technology at a public demonstration held last week at Kelly Field. I'm a little upset I didn't get an invite, but okay. Okay, real quick, Gonz. Any PR people who listen to this show, how can I leverage what I'm doing here to start getting invites to all these robotics things? There has to be a way. Somebody hit me up about that. Demonstration last week at Kelly Field, where the company has a custom hangar built at Port San Antonio. Zyrek's robot strips paint off airplanes, replacing what has historically been a toxic and time-consuming ordeal done by hand with a new streamlined process. The robot sears paint off with a powerful laser housed in a box the size of a car. The laser bounces through mirrors up the robot's mast and out from its arm, which can articulate a position with a 6-axis of movement on entirely electric motors. The laser's firing emits a particular whining and growling sound. Ooh. It is the sound of air molecules heating up and the paint popping off the aircraft's metal surface. The evaporated paint creates a noxious gas that is instantly sucked up and filtered, leaving behind a small pile of gray dust. This is the way they describe paint coming off the airplane, but soon It will be our flesh. Zyrek president and founder Peter Boyink has said the process of completely stripping a commercial aircraft such as a Boeing 777 would take around 5 days and require 2 robot operators. The traditional process would have more than a dozen workers using lots of water and harsh chemicals to do the same job in about 11 days. Boyink said he started on this technology back in 2008 when he learned of the traditional process. Quote, "I saw what a terrible environmental thing is going on here. But also, look at the people working on this. It is immensely unhealthy." So there we have our plug at, look at the people working on this. These expensive, unvaccinated animals. We can't let them around our airplanes. It's very unhealthy for them. So we're going to put 11 people out of a job, and we're just going to give it to 2 people working the operator or working the robot. And it's all in the name of environmental safety, et cetera, et cetera. Same storyline we see with each one of these robot arms. You have something to say?
I was going to say, make a 60-foot robot to have a safer environment.
Yeah, let's make the biggest robotic arm on the planet and equip it with a high-powered laser. This is way safer than puny humans earning money for their families.
I can only imagine this was approved because it can be used as a powerful weapon.
Yes, when the revolution comes, these robot arms, they will be hijacked and assembled onto the sort of Voltron-style AI mechanism that conglomerates and takes over Washington, D.C. It'll be a robot with 2 laser-shooting robot arms burning the paint off of the White House is what its next step will be.
Graffitiing the White House.
Yeah. The Southwest Research Institute, whose location in San Antonio, led Boyink to base blah, blah, blah. So then it just talks about whatever, business stuff. Boring. Mm-hmm. It's all about the scary Destructo robots. So that's something that exists now if you were running out of things to inhabit your nightmares.
Yeah.
But speaking of nightmares, Gonz, our worst nightmare has come true. This is BBC.com, and the headline goes like this. DecoPac, garden supply firm worker crushed by robot arm.
It will kill.
Been saying it. We've been warning people.
I'm saying, man, an engineer was crushed to death by a robotic arm just weeks after starting a job at West Yorkshire garden supplies firm, a court heard. Andrew Tibbett, just weeks on the job, and the robotic already killed somebody. Andrew Tibbett had been one of the last employees working at DecoPac in Heaperholm on 14th of April 2017 when he was fatally injured by the machine. One of the last employees. So the act of replacing employees with robotics arms was well underway when this happened. Bradford Crown Court heard the 48-year-old was only discovered when concerned family members went to the site on Halifax Road later that evening. So he was crushed by a robotic arm, and there were so few human employees working in this warehouse that nobody even saw it happen or knew that he was there. DecoPac denies corporate manslaughter. The firm has which is a simple sentence. DecoPac denies corporate manslaughter, and of course they would, but also has a much deeper implication, which we've been talking about for many, many years, which is the personhood of robots. Being, hey, if an AI robot kills someone, it's not the corporation's fault. It's no human's fault. It's there is a legal entity of the AI who goes into robo jail. Put the toaster in jail, baby. The firm, or at least that's the social evolution happening now. The firm has admitted breaching its general duty to employees under health and safety regulations. Alan Compton, QC, prosecuting, said Mr. Tibbett was found by his son, but despite paramedics arriving on scene, he died from crush injuries to his chest. Mr. Tibbett had entered the cell around the robotic arm to clean a sensor. Court heard, with the prosecution claiming his death had been wholly avoidable. Mr. Compton alleged that within days of the... So, again, they're kind of whizzing right by this, especially a few years ago. All these robotic arms, they operated within cages as a safety mechanism. So you'd have the robotic arm doing its job, but there was a cage around it so nobody could get close. And the only time people go in the cage is to, well, clean a sensor or do some sort of maintenance. You have to... I mean, of course, the protocol would be turn off the robot before you go in the cage. So whether or not this individual turned off the robot, maybe he forgot, maybe he didn't. But if he did, follow protocol and turn off the robot and went into the cell, and still the robotic arm went haywire and crushed him. This is the stuff of Robo Revolution, Gonz. He entered the cell. Mr. Compton alleged that within days of the 2015 installation of the automated machinery used for bagging aggregates, the company had caused essential safety features to be bypassed or disabled. That's how it starts. The jury heard the robotic arm could move at 7 meters per second. They were told another worker had left the firm due to, quote, lethal working conditions. This robotic arm was scaring people away on day one that it was installed. Managing Director Michael Hall, 64, admitted the health and safety breach, but denies a charge of manslaughter by gross negligence. Let's see, denies the same blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. So there you go. This happened a while back, actually.
Did we report on it before?
Now, I'm sure we would have if we had heard about it, but this just came out 2 days ago. So this is, the court system is just making it to this case.
Yeah.
And it's like 4 years later.
Yeah, 4. 4 years.
2017, I think. Yeah.
So, the Telegraph and Argus also got into a little more detail of the trial here, and their headline is "Jury Watch Footage of Final Moments Before Engineer Was Fatally Crushed by Robotic Arm."
Wow.
And it kind of goes over the same info. The footage of him entering the RM packaging machine's robotic cell to clean or adjust a sensor was shown in court by prosecutor Alan Compton, QC, who accuses the company of having a scant regard for health and safety. So that's what's interesting with the BBC article. It doesn't mention they showed footage, but apparently there's some footage.
You would think if there's footage of the incident that this would have been resolved sooner than 4 years later. But robo law is a new and evolving industry. Okay,
before you go there,
okay.
There's a quote here at the bottom of this article that I highlighted, and it mentions that he stated that in a previous incident, when an employee was injured, the robotic arm had only brushed him, speaking to the whole concept of, lethal working conditions.
Previous incidents.
Yeah. Slater declined to answer the police's questions, Mr. Compton said, but in a prepared statement, he said he wasn't familiar with the machine's operations. This is the company over there that's getting accused here, wasn't familiar with the machine's operations or functions and relied on the expertise of those who had received specialist training from RM. So a messy legal thing, but probably the first one that really truly involves like a robot in the middle of it. And it doesn't seem like they're getting ready to blame the robot per se yet.
No. Yeah,
but
true.
Eventually, legally, it'll go there. So I don't think it's.
Well, that's at least the conversation being had, because these companies, they don't want to be responsible for autonomous robots' actions.
Yeah. There's going to be somebody's got to take unless they find a loophole like they did with Big Pharma.
They're
and all
certainly
the
working for it. Yeah,
shooting up everybody. Speaking of which,
non-liability clauses.
Yeah.
Vaccine. Number one way.
We've got a Flippy vaccine update. This is coming from newatlas.com. And, remember, we just heard the stories about the laser-wielding robots, the murderous robot arms. Now we've got Cobi robot autonomously performs needleless vaccinations. Needleless. How does this robot do it, Gonzo?
What's going on?
It goes without saying that a lot of people are receiving the COVID-19 vaccine these days. And they put a lot in italics, which is kind of a weird, subtle, I don't know. There's some subtle narrative crafting there. I don't know.
A lot of people.
A lot of people. If you're not one of these people, you're missing out. And will continue to do force due to, okay, let me start over. It goes without saying that a lot of people are receiving the COVID-19 vaccine these days and will continue to do so for some time. We'll see. A new robot is designed to help streamline the process by autonomously and needlelessly vaccinating human patients.
Yay!
Yes,
and we have come full circle.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Known as Cobi, cute name, the device was developed by Canadian startup Cobionics, a University of Waterloo spin-off company. It's claimed to be the first robot to ever successfully perform an intramuscular injection, and it did so without using a hypodermic needle. The idea is that after pre-registering for a vaccination online, patients will show up at a clinic or other location that's utilizing a Cobi robot, then display a piece of identification to a camera on the unit's touchscreen surface. As they arrive, multiple 3D depth sensors detect their presence. Once their ID has been verified, the Cobi robotic arm retrieves a vial of vaccine from a built-in storage area. A LiDAR sensor on the hand of that arm is then used to create a 3D digital map of the patient's body. Oh, great. It's just, not only are you getting a vaccine, you're just getting a quick little facial scan, a quick little 3D digital map made of your body, which certainly will be shot off into the cloud somewhere to be analyzed for advertising purposes, which is analyzed via AI-based software to determine the optimal injection site. You mean arm? Optimal injection site, arm located. Utilizing a third-party needleless technology, the vaccine itself is subsequently injected in the form of a high-pressure jet of fluid that passes through a human hair-width orifice. The company is unable to provide more details at this time. Oh,
weird! What is going on?
I would very specifically enjoy more details on this.
Yeah,
but no details allowed. It's a high-pressure jet vaccine.
Jet of fluid.
Blasted through your skin and through your muscle to get this vaccine into your arm. Pretty crazy. I mean, especially concerning the issues that are being talked about right now in the mainstream corporate media, where, when getting the vaccine, there's some concern. You want to make sure it gets into the muscle, not the bloodstream. And there's a lot of talk about these vaccinators, not what do they call it? Respirating the needle or something. I forget what the name is, but pull a little bit in to see some blood because you don't want to get it into the bloodstream. You want it in the muscle. But without a needle and with just a high pressure jet of fluid blasting into your arm, seems like it feels like the preciseness of this feature would be if nothing else, needs some more details provided by the company, which they are apparently unable to do at this time.
So do you think it has little nanobots or something that they can't release info on yet? Or
who knows? I don't know. They're just like, why do you need a needle if you can just fire the vaccine at such high velocity that it pierces the skin and your muscle without needing a needle? It's next level. I'll give them that. That is some next level vaccine delivery. It's like a little gun. It's like a little vaccine gun.
Oh, you gotta self-swab the spot, though, it looks like. There's a guy here in the demonstration. Pulled up his arm there, and the robot is sizing up the arm. So moving in, and boom, needleless injection.
Cobionics co-founder Tim Laswell tells us that it will be about 2 years before Cobi enters the healthcare market. Once that time comes, it is hoped that the robot will allow more people to be vaccinated at once, while also lowering healthcare costs. It could additionally be utilized in remote locations which lack trained clinicians. For now, though, you can see a demo here. So they're saying, you can use it when there's not enough nurses. Well, okay, yeah, get enough of these robots. You need less nurses. There you go. Sorry, nurses. Robots completely taking over the world here. But also the liability issue. You've got the pharmaceutical companies with no liability for the vaccination. And then, you've got the robotics company, which I'm sure will fight for some measure of no liability. Oh, it's an AI robot.
Oh, they'll just be protected under the big pharma umbrella.
Exactly. It's another protected class. And it's basically a vaccine like vending machine, of course, taking all humans out of the process, where you just walk up, show your ID, blah, 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 get this junk shot into your arm. I don't know. It's just very concerning, Gonzo.
Well, hopefully, legally, if this arm hurts you by whipping around and smacking you in the head instead of just the vaccine, you can try it in court for violent behavior or whatever. Yeah, it's fascinating with all the Flippy stories today, which thematically, there are days we have more than one Flippy update, but for some reason today seemed like a good day to do a little collection of them.
Put them all together.
They all kind of aligned. And especially the murdering robot arm, because it really does 2017 too, which means Flippy was a murderer from the beginning.
He's been a murderer for a while.
He does not stand in the truth because there's no truth in him. You know that passage from John 8:44.
Of course,
you are of your father the devil, and you will and your will is to do your father's desires. Flippy. He was a murderer from the beginning.
Flippy.
He's giving himself away by all this stuff. And now he's injecting people in the arm with the vaccine. I mean, if the people start keeling over after they get the jab.
It's a whole thing,
man. It's
a
whole thing. This is just, it's everywhere. We're not going to be able to get away from the robot arm, not to mention the propaganda coming out with Finch, with robots in general and how they can help you in the apocalypse.
The robots are going to keep us nice and warm in their people zoo.
Yeah, great.
All right, so what else you got?
Well, that's it for the Flippy stuff. You want to get into some COVID?
We should probably do that.
It's Corona time. COVID-19, 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 COVID-19,
COVID-19.
COVID-19. COVID-19. Coronavirus.
I'm going to start with a couple clips. This one kind of went viral. It's with our favorite amigo, Dr. Fauci.
Science is truth.
And he was being grilled again by Rand Paul. And this time, any objective person at this point, they can't possibly side with Fauci unless there's financial reasons or career reasons or something like that. And even then, you're compromising integrity.
Right. Well, they're just establishment shills. That's what it is. They're doing their job, and their job is to protect Fauci.
And Fauci clearly got his memo, what to talk about, what to point out, no matter what.
To the framework and guidelines.
So what you're doing is defining a way gain of function. No. You're simply saying it doesn't exist because you changed the definition on the NIH website. This is terrible, and you're completely trying to escape the idea that we should do something about trying to prevent a pandemic from leaking from a lab. There's the preponderance of evidence now points towards this coming from the lab, and what you've done is change the definition on your website to try to to cover your ass, basically. That's what you've done. You've changed the website to try to have a new definition that doesn't include the risky research that's going on. Until you admit that it's risky, we're not going to get anywhere. You have to admit that this research was risky. The NIH has now rebuked them. Your own agency has rebuked them. But the thing is you're still unwilling to admit that they gained in function when they say they became sicker. They gained in lethality. It's a new virus. That's not gain of function?
According to the definition that is currently operable, Senator, let's make it clear for the people who are listening.
Wow.
The current definition...
The people who are listening, his overlords, his lizard overlords.
Clear for the people who are listening. The current definition was done over a 2 to 3 year period by outside bodies, including the NSABB, 2 conferences by the National Academy of Science, Engineering, and Medicine.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah.
I mean,
Blah, blah,
he admitted it right there. According to the definition, the current definition,
yeah,
we didn't do anything wrong.
It's just unbelievable where, Rand Paul's like, you guys changed the definition on the website, and you can hear him respond, yeah. And then once he starts going, he's like, according to the current definition, it's like, okay, all right.
Was that you could hear Rand laughing in the background?
Yes, that was Rand actually laughing in the background. That's how ridiculous it's become here.
Totally.
I don't know. I don't understand how. I mean, what?
Oh, he's just trying to. It's just what they do, man.
No, I know
he's
it's
just
what they
at
do.
that level. He can just all he's got to do is have the right establishment behind him.
Yeah,
he can say whatever he wants.
He must have a string attached to someone very high up in the hierarchy there to just blabble on like this and be allowed to continue to exist without any
and it
consequence.
shows how much of a joke congressional situations like this are. I don't even know what to call them. They're not like cases. They're just sort of questionnaires they bring people in for. Because you saw it with the same thing when they brought in Google and Facebook and everybody,
Senator.
It's how it goes. You get asked to come in, you get berated for a little bit, you lie and just say you did nothing wrong, and then you just go home and nothing changes. Mm-hmm. But at least Rand is not letting off the pressure, which I like about it.
Yeah, and we get wonderful clips like this. He wasn't the only one talking this weekend. We also heard from Bill Gates, or this week, I guess, not weekend.
We're taking things that are genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein, right into the vein, right into the vein.
I think this clip of Bill is up there with some of the more egregious things that he has said. It's 3 minutes long, so we'll stop along the way. But this is him with a sit-down interview for Policy Exchange, and the guy asks the question about the pandemic, and Bill just runs off with it.
Are we doing things now, or rather are we not doing things now that we really need to be doing in preparation for the next pandemic?
Yeah, so it's 2015 that I gave the TED Talk and wrote a number of papers.
First off, why are you looking into the camera, Bill? Isn't that like 101 interview? Don't, especially this kind of sit-down interview where you're being interviewed by a guy sitting across from you.
Yeah.
It's just kind of weird that he looks right into the camera. Like,
he looks a little haggard.
Oh,
he's
he's
not looking great.
No, not great. But yes, it's just weird that he looks right at you.
Yeah.
Lizard person.
TED Talk and wrote a number of papers titled "We're Not Ready for the Next Pandemic." And sadly, that was a better forecast of what would happen than anyone would have wished for. The economic damage, the deaths, it's been completely horrific. And I would expect that will lead the R&D budgets to be focused on things we didn't have today. We didn't have vaccines that block transmission. We got vaccines that help you with your health, but they only slightly reduce the transmissions. We need a new way of doing the vaccines. We need
a new way of doing the vaccines?
He's just admitting that they don't work very well.
I mean, Yeah, the Hegelian dialectic element of that. It's like, oh, we roll it out. Oh, it didn't work. We got to do something different. With what? Cody, the robot arm?
It's Cobi. Gonz, get it right or pay the price.
Yeah. All right, here he continues on here.
We got vaccines that help you with your health, but they only slightly reduce the transmissions. We need a new way of doing the vaccines. We didn't get much in the way of therapeutics. Dexamethasone and now molnupiravir could help, but way less than should have been the case. We didn't get the diagnostics.
Yeah, so obviously no mention of remdesivir, ivermectin in that either. And I like his excuse here.
Way less than should have been the case. We didn't get the diagnostics up and running in order to achieve what at least Australia and New Zealand showed, that competent management could keep the death rate down.
He's praising Australia and New Zealand as model citizens of the global community.
Yeah, of course. They followed the lizard people instructions to the T.
And now I'm hearing that there's like a lot of, and we might have reported on it, that the hospitalization rates in Australia are going up, and it's not because of COVID. People are just getting sick, and they have a very high vaccination rate.
We're having that here as well.
Yeah, okay, continuing on here.
And should have been the case. We didn't get the diagnostics up and running in order to achieve what at least Australia and New Zealand showed, that competent management could keep the death rate down pretty dramatically. And so I'm hoping in 5 years I can write a book called, We Are Ready for the Next Pandemic. But it'll take tens of billions in R&D that the US and the UK will be part of that. It'll take probably about $1 billion a year for a pandemic task force at the WHO level, which is doing the surveillance and actually doing what I call germ games, where you practice. You say, okay, what if a bioterrorist brought smallpox to 10 airports?
What
how would the world respond to that?
Okay, all right.
He's warning us. This is not him.
Got to talk about this.
Him talking about what we should do. He's warning us about what's going to happen in 5 years.
Okay, so he $1 billion a year for a pandemic task force at the WHO level, which makes sense. It's consistent with everything we've seen so far. And they're the ones doing the surveillance. And he says actually doing what did he say? What I call? Yeah. Okay. So he came up with this, or what? Germ games.
Yeah. It's
what
like
I
war
call
games.
Germ games. Yeah. It's just drills.
Doing what I call germ games, where you practice. You say, okay, what if a bioterrorist brought smallpox to 10 airports? How would the world respond to that? That there's naturally caused epidemics and bioterrorism caused epidemics that could even be way worse than what we experience today.
Okay, so you think he's warning us of a bioterrorist pandemic or epidemic?
I'm just saying the germ games, that's Event 201. They did Event 201, November, October 2019, ran through the rehearsal of it, literally a bat origin coronavirus and how to do it. And then it started a month or two later. Hello, he's just saying, we're going to run some more games, something like smallpox at an airport. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, this
keep an eye
me
out for smallpox at an airport in 5 years, folks.
Well, it reminds me of a few years, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. It might have been more. Remember that story about how they shut down part of, I think it was Disneyland, if I'm not mistaken, because there was like some small breakout of smallpox? I wonder if they were testing stuff.
Every couple years, you'll hear just like of a case that popped up or something.
Right. That has to be part of that's got to be part of the, the test, the early tests.
Certainly could be.
He continues here.
And yet, the advances in medical science should give us tools that, we could do dramatically better. So you'd think this would be a priority. The next year will be where those allocations have to get made, including this global pandemic task force. The nice thing is a lot of the R&D we need to do to be ready for the next pandemic are things like making vaccines cheap, having big factories, eradicating the flu, getting rid of the common cold, making vaccines just
eradicating the flu.
Eradicating the flu.
Please.
Getting rid of the common cold.
What do we got to do to get ready for future pandemics? Is that what the question was?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we got to do to get rid of future pandemics? Oh, just eradicate diseases we've been trying to eradicate for 100 years and have made no. Oh, you mean we could have eradicated them this whole time, but we just haven't, perhaps because the pharmaceutical companies make more money from people getting sick than not being sick? I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I think he's saying more than he's meaning to say.
Oh, absolutely. It's all downloaded into his brain. Doesn't have a filter anymore. By the way, having some kind of a vaccine that marks you on your wrist, the people that are all crazy conspiracy theorists, right? Well, Bill's a crazy conspiracy theorist.
Eradicating the flu, getting rid of the common cold, making vaccines just a little patch you put on your arm, things that will be incredibly beneficial even in the years when we don't have pandemics.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, we knew he's been working on the patch for years now.
I know, but it's nice to hear him say it, and it's nice to know that he's part of the community of fringe thinkers and crazy conspiracy theorists.
Totally.
Yeah, okay.
In the years when we don't have pandemics. So, along with the climate message and the
so funny.
Ongoing fight against disease of the poor, the pandemic preparedness is something I'll be talking about a lot, and I think it'll find fertile ground because we lost trillions of dollars and millions of lives, and government citizens expect their governments not to let that happen again.
Yeah, the losing trillions was more important than losing the millions of lives. came before. We lost trillions of dollars, millions of people too.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This guy's sketchy, man. He's always been sketchy. All right.
And this, I don't know. I like how the whole thing is like, citizens expect their governments to do something so it doesn't happen again. And it's like, well, they're the ones that caused a lot of the economic turmoil and even the deaths, I would argue.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting he's specifically talking about bioterrorism, which is smallpox, which is an eradicated disease. The only known existence of it are inside of labs, for instance, labs such as the Wuhan Institute of Virology, these government-run big labs, are the only places that smallpox exists. Now, it's been a Hollywood storyline forever that, a terrorist could steal it and then let it loose or do some gain of function on smallpox and make it more deadly. And you combine that with what we already know about coronavirus. This coronavirus was that they had been talking for years about a pandemic that could happen, perhaps such as a coronavirus originating from bats. And so, as we know now, they spent the money illegally sponsoring gain-of-function research in China so they wouldn't get caught, creating the very monster that they claimed they wanted to defeat. And that's what's so concerning about this smallpox talk. Because just in the same way, they're sitting here talking, well, we're very worried about a smallpox terrorist attack. Well, what does that mean? Well, if history is any signal, that means somebody is probably funding gain-of-function research on smallpox so we can better fight it when it happens. Well, let's hope that you have it in a more secure lab than Wuhan. But, it's just what we've learned to expect from the establishment, especially the global health establishment. If they're talking about a pandemic coming soon from a specific virus, again, you don't even have to go so far as to say that they are purposefully creating the virus to release it. You don't even have to go there. If they believe that it's a danger, then they are more than willing, as we've learned, to secretly and illegally fund the gain-of-function research to create the very monster that they're afraid of, and then bada boom, bada bing, prophecy fulfilled. I mean, that's not conspiracy theory. That is just looking at the last, 5 years of history with the NIH, Anthony Fauci, the Wuhan virology lab, and Event 201. They've been talking about it for years. They acted in a way that brought it about. And that's what makes it so concerning when they start talking about the next pandemic, which is all over the corporate media now. Everybody's talking about preparing for the next pandemic. It's like, great. Okay, well, we know how this goes.
Yep, I think you pretty much nailed it there. I think it's interesting also that a lot of conversations between the pro-vax and anti-vax people, or an argument I heard a lot from the pro-vax people, at least online, was, what about smallpox? You took the vaccine against the smallpox, and it was always used as kind of like an example, I guess, of why you should accept the new vaccines. So I think there's some built-in prep there of like, oh, those those anti-vax people, they have re-unleashed, smallpox when there was a terrorist attack because they won't get the vaccine, or whatever narrative they can craft around it, right? For the continued divide and conquer.
It's the beauty of corporate media mind control. Yeah, is it works very well to those who only pay attention to the corporate media. By the way, I've made a point to try to start calling it corporate media instead of mainstream media.
Okay.
I don't know. You can follow along if you'd like. I feel like mainstream media is a little played, and corporate media is more specific, because there are mainstream outlets that are not so corporate, I guess, as Indian.
Well, yes, mainstream has been redefined.
Right. As independent media does gain traction in shows like Joe Rogan or whatever, who get more views than CNN on a daily basis.
Joe is completely independent.
Well, okay. That example doesn't. Okay, I'm not trying to have an argument with you.
No, I'm just saying.
I think corporate media is more specific.
Yes, corporate. Yes, you can say Joe Rogan is not exactly your traditional form of corporate media.
And I think he counts as mainstream.
Oh, I don't think 100% he counts.
I don't think he is mainstream, but I do not think he would be considered corporate media.
Yeah, that makes sense. Other than the companies he promotes on his show.
Yeah. Okay, somebody's asking me which ones aren't corporate, though. Us. We're not corporate. There's plenty of there's plenty of really good independent media going on.
Yeah.
I'm not shilling for Joe Rogan. That was a bad example to bring up, but there's other great shows who are doing good work, who aren't, who are independent and have bigger audiences than most corporate media. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. Yep. So I'm not sure if mainstream is the most effective term anymore. Anyways, let's move on. You have anything more from Billy?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, here's a quick story coming from NBCnews.com. You may have heard the headline is COVID vaccines for children are coming. So is the misinformation. Oh no. Gonz, misinformation.
Yep.
Dr. Natasha Berger is well aware of the concerns parents have about the COVID-19 vaccines. The Kansas pediatrician, who is a spokesperson for the American Academy of Pediatrics, said she's already been counseling some parents about their fears. And she worries that they are entering a particularly sensitive time, one that anti-vaccination activists could exploit. Oh no, those pesky.
I don't know. Pediatricians, is she doing the job of a psychologist too?
She's a counselor. She's a counselor now, yes. So she's both a doctor for children and a therapist for adults. It says right on her degree, I'm sure somewhere in small print. Quote, if the anti-vaccine industry. I mean, talk about misinformation. She's putting it out right here. An anti-vaccine industry starts doing what we anticipate with those very graphic and emotionally charged videos and bringing out their supposed experts. I think it's going to affect a new group of parents, she said. Burgert and many other doctors, public health experts, and misinformation researchers are anticipating a flood of anti-vaccine propaganda featuring younger children following last week's vote by a Food and Drug Administration Advisory Committee to authorize Pfizer-BioNTech's lower-dose COVID vaccine for children 5 to 11. The centers... The fact that they are already unaware of the focus on children in the vaccine hesitant group shows just how effective their experts are.
Yeah.
Like, hello, children have been the focus of vaccine hesitancy for decades. The entire history, if you want to call it anti-vaccine, which it was formerly known, if you want to call out anti-vaccine research or information, that's been going on for decades, and it's always been focused on children from the very beginning, from the babies, the newborns vaccination schedule now up to like 50 shots or whatever. It's always been about children. It's only recently with the COVID vaccine been more about adults. So, anywho, they have no idea in the words of Dr. Anthony Fauci, you have no idea what you are talking about.
You don't know what you're talking about.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices unanimously recommended the COVID vaccines for 5 to 11-year-olds on Tuesday. The CDC Director, Rochelle Walensky, signed off on the approval letter in the evening. Oopsies. Hold on. Opening the door for more than 28 million children to start receiving vaccinations on Wednesday morning. Some fringe groups have already begun pushing the kinds of videos that the modern anti-vaccine movement was built upon. Intimate, unverified videos and testimonies of children with alleged vaccine injuries that are visceral and effective. Yeah, okay. Even while they give a false picture of the overall safety and importance of vaccines. And that's what they love to push. Let me finish this paragraph. These firsthand accounts. By the way, if you're on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, go right now to CanaryCry.Party. Follow us in one of the other locations. This is when we start reading this type of stuff. This is when the stream gets cut and the video gets taken down afterwards. So just do it right now because you just don't want to deal with it later. These firsthand accounts present a challenge for platforms including TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook, and an opportunity for anti-vaccine activists to reach a new audience. So remember, the headline was talking about misinformation. Mm-hmm. And then what they refer to here is firsthand accounts of children who have had vaccine injuries.
And how that is unverified, though, Basil. It's unverified.
Sure, of course. Yeah, nobody's going to verify that. What doctor would risk their licensing to go out on a limb and put their name on a vaccine injury in today's world? But no, of course, we can't just take children and their parents' word about the effect of the vaccine on their children. And they're not even saying here that it's false. They're saying alleged, but they're not saying it's false. They are completely giving room to say, hey, yes, probably a lot of these videos of children who are negatively affected by vaccines are true, but that gives a false picture of the overall safety and importance of vaccines. So what they're saying is, yes, some children will be hurt by this, but you just got to roll the dice. I mean, it's a very small group of children, and so yada, yada, yada. And what they're not taking into account here is parents don't give one single care about the big numbers. If there is a chance that their child will be hurt by something, rolling the dice on your children's safety is not an option for most parents. And what they're showing in this article is, yeah, you know, if parents learn the truth about what happens to some small percentage of children, they may not roll the dice on their children's health. And that is unacceptable. So just to translate, if anybody was missing that translation. The article goes on. Vaccine advocates are pointing to a recent example spreading quickly on social media as a harbinger for the kind of graphic misinformation that they fear most. The video, first posted to a fringe anti-vaccine website and then spread throughout mainstream sites, including YouTube and Facebook, is only 30 seconds long, but devastating. In a carousel of vignettes, a young girl with a beaming smile digs in the dirt, dances on her front lawn, and celebrates over cake with her family. It then cuts to a close-up shot of the girl's face as she cries out in pain, her head wrapped in bandages and a tube through her nose. Later, 3 adults hoist her limp body into a wheelchair. Then it quickly cuts to her hospital gown, an intravenous line in her hand, and ends lingering on a video of her legs as she shakes uncontrollably. The cause of the girl's condition is unclear. Okay. Well, I'm sure they tried to make it clear, but okay. Her mother said on a panel held Tuesday in Washington, D.C., hosted by Senator Ron Johnson, Republican of Wisconsin, that she was injured by a COVID vaccine administered as part of a Pfizer trial at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Johnson has been widely criticized for spreading misleading claims about the vaccine. Okay, so her child gets oh no, this is Ron Johnson. Yeah, okay. So they just got to throw in there that Ron Johnson, has been anti-vaccine before. Ooh, so don't believe him. The family's lawyer, Aaron Siri, who also represents the country's largest anti-vaccine organization, the Informed Consent Action Network, claims the doctors investigating the case misdiagnosed her myriad injuries as unrelated to the vaccine, then downplayed them as abdominal pain. In the meantime, anti-vaccine activists have made the girl a poster child for their cause. The mother of the girl and the group behind the ad have not provided any evidence that the girl was diagnosed as harmed by the COVID-19 vaccine. So just to repeat what they just said was the mother claims that she was harmed by the vaccine, but doctors but the lawyer says that doctors misdiagnosed her. And so the mother hasn't given any evidence. Nobody has diagnosed her with problems from the COVID-19 vaccine. Again, goes to the institutional pressures that these doctors are under, where not a single one of these doctors is going to even suggest that the vaccine had something to do with it. Because as we've heard from many, dozens of doctors who have come out and said, yeah, there's no way I can do that. They're going to kick me out of my medical groups. They're going to take away my license. They're going to do all this. So, okay. But yeah, they don't mention that here in the article. The ad was paid for by the Vaccine Safety Research Foundation, an anti-vaccine group founded last month by veteran Silicon Valley entrepreneur Steve Kirsch, known for inventing the optical mouse, and more recently for advocating unproven COVID cures and against vaccines, which he calls toxic. Again, advocating unproven COVID cures that means nothing, and against vaccines, which he calls toxic. Okay, welcome to at least 50% of the country. Berger warned these tactics could be effective. Quote, they're going to get their claws into a new group of hesitant families that otherwise have got all their vaccines on time, she said. I'm concerned that they're going to be able to use their manipulation tactics and psychological tactics to harness a new group of formerly pro-vaccine families into vaccine hesitancy. So this doctor is telling you, yeah, we are afraid that more parents are going to become vaccine hesitant. Yeah, seems like a very real thing.
And notice how she's blaming the misinformation rather than the legit concerns.
Oh yeah, no. Any concerns are psychological tactics, manipulation tactics. It's all tactics. It's a war that these anti-vaxxers are playing on the minds of parents. Not, oh, parents can just, use their own eyeballs and see the inconsistencies in the situations being forced upon them and their children. In a statement, the girl's mother, Stephanie Daguerre, said her entire family was pro-vaccine and that ads like the one featuring her daughter were necessary to develop treatments for these harms. So again, she's just trying to get treatments for the vaccine negative side effects. It is unfortunate that pro-vaccine advocates feel the need to dismiss those injured by the vaccine in order to promote vaccines, she said in an email. COVID vaccine hesitancy among parents is already high, according to recent polling from the Kaiser Family Foundation. 27% of parents plan to vaccinate their children ages 5 to 11 right away. 33% will wait and see, and 30% say they definitely won't get their children vaccinated. That is more than the 27%. More parents are not going to get their children vaccinated.
Yeah, the wait and see parents have been tagged by the Eye of Sauron.
Yes,
33% of you
tagged with the 33%. Yeah. 5% said they would only vaccinate their child to comply with a school mandate. That was like the least respectable group. That 5%. Like, no, I don't like it, but if it becomes inconvenient to protect my child, then yeah, I'll just go ahead and do it. Vaccine injury or death is extremely rare, according to health experts. Yet narratives of blood clots, heart attacks, or deaths are wildly popular in some parts of the internet, racking up millions of mentions, according to data provided by Signal Labs, which analyzes social media, broadcasts, traditional media, online conversations about COVID. The mentions of vaccine injury and death have increased by at least 27% in the last 4 months, according to the data. There's a reason that emotional, shocking anti-vaccine narratives often drown out fact-based ones. As if the emotional, shocking, pro-vaccine narratives are also not in play here, but okay. Quote, the anti-vaccine industry playbook is effective. It works, Berger said, and the success of vaccines is so quiet, so subdued, so commonplace. Please.
Wow.
Please. That is just a lie. The success of vaccines is so quiet, so subdued, so commonplace. The president of the United States of America repeats it over and over and over on national news. Every single corporate media outlet calls anybody who's who's vaccine hesitant as stupid, idiot, Trump supporters, and this person is saying, oh, the success of the vaccines is so quiet and so subdued and commonplace. Social media platforms say they're ready for the onslaught. And it goes on and on and on, but it follows the same track of what we've been talking about here. I don't know. It's just sick. And this entire article is just trying to get ahead of it. By their own admission, they're trying to get ahead of any, child-based vaccine hesitant content. And it shows how disconnected they are. They have all these experts and researchers and blah, blah, blah. And it shows they know, or at least they have no interest in communicating the real facts about the vaccine hesitant movement and the motivations that might be behind it. So there you go. There's just more corporate media for you. Not surprising, but pretty infuriating.
It's pretty interesting, too, because they're, I don't know, it's almost like a hot potato where they're trying to push it off onto the social media platforms once again to play the scapegoat for a lot of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The last sentence there are 0 social media platforms that are prepared for what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Which is, it's also freaky in that, like, oh, so we're about to hear a bunch of kids die or have issues?
Remember, hero children, as we saw heard last episode, these children are heroes. And what's the problem with calling people heroes? It means their death was a sacrifice, a needed sacrifice, a brave sacrifice. If something happens to heroes, it means they chose to do it for the betterment of other people, and it completely reshifts anything that bad happens to them from a tragedy to a sacrifice by a hero. Let us, worship them for their sacrifice, their heroic sacrifice. We saw it with the nurses, and society turned around and dumped the nurses, and now we're seeing it with children, and and it's just a really bad situation. Don't let them convince you to call people at this point anybody heroes. You start calling one big group of people heroes. That group needs to watch out because they're about to hit some very uncomfortable situations. Yeah.
Somebody had sent us a note with a link. I don't know where it is right now, but basically it was I couldn't verify it 100%, although it seemed like one of the ingredients in the vaccines for kids was something that treats heart inflammation.
The new ingredients in the vaccine, you mean?
Yeah, there's something that they switched out. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. I actually wanted to bring something like this. They're changing some formulation in the vaccine. Now they won't admit that the heart problems are a real danger, but they'll go ahead and sort of quietly change the ingredients. So
I mean, it's just
it's crazy.
The other part is this NBC article is basically again admitting that we're going to see problems.
Yep.
But they're justifying it, saying, well, pandemic would have killed them more or something. And it's like, not kids. Kids were like the safest people out there during the whole thing. Yeah. So I don't know. Right. It's pretty disturbing.
Very nefarious.
Place. Yeah.
Along the same lines, just a couple of updates that we had already sort of covered and seen coming. But theguardian.com reports here, headline, UK first to approve oral antiviral molnupiravir to treat COVID. So that happened. Molnupiravir officially has been approved in the UK. Let's see, what are their plans here?
I don't know. It's just like, take this needle, take this blast of liquid, take this pill. It's just, wow. How crazy and dystopian have we become in the last 2 years? Pretty crazy.
It's the most crazy. Here, let's just get a little taste of what they're talking about here. The UK medicines regulator has become the first in the world to approve an oral antiviral pill for COVID in a move that paves the way for tens of thousands of vulnerable patients to receive the treatment from this winter. Nearly 500,000 doses of molnupiravir, a pill that can be taken twice daily at home, are due for delivery from mid-November and will be given as priority to elder COVID patients and those with particular vulnerabilities, such as weakened immune systems. The drug will initially be given to patients through a national study run by the NHS. So there you go. They're going to be trying out the COVID pill, and this is a treatment. This is not a... I don't know if they're going to bill it as a prophylactic, but it is a treatment. You take it twice a day to, cure your COVID, or at least treat it. And then we have another little. This is just one for fun, Gonz. This is just a little for funsies. I follow the CDC on Twitter, and they sent out this very interesting map from covid.cdc.gov, COVID-19 integrated county view. So basically it's one of their little maps here. And this is the most recent map of the United States showing COVID transmission, community transmission. And it's broken down by county, but we have this nice big map of the United States divided up by counties. And it's pretty much all red, which is high, the 72% community transmission range. But you'll notice, Gonzo, there is one part of the United States that is 2 levels lower than high, down to the moderate level. And it includes Texas, Florida, basically the South. Has substantially reduced the community transmission.
Florida is practically all moderate.
Florida is basically all yellow. So this is a little problematic for the vaccination hounds here, because it looks like the least vaccinated states in the nation are the ones with the least community transmission. Weird how that works.
Well, I don't get it. I thought we get the jab and we're protected.
Coming straight from the CDC. This is not fake news, YouTube moderators. This is just right here on the CDC website.
Fake news.
Yeah.
You're a liar.
The South is winning against the COVID. What is DeSantis doing?
You are raising a Confederate flag against Corona.
Those dang Confederates down there. Yeah, so that's just an unfortunate little detail for the NBC crowd, I think. All right. Well, I think we've caused enough trouble.
Sure, yeah. So before we go into break here, I wanted to do this real quick. All right. So this is, I understand now. Marty B sent us this jingle here, and this is for us to be able to talk about CanaryCry.Party. Put it in your URL, type in CanaryCry.Party, and it'll take you to our LINKTREE, where all the various links to our media empire exists in a hive-like structure where you can click and go to the various spots. You'll find subscriptions or the ability to subscribe to our email list, receive newsletters with updates, and more importantly, the show notes of the episodes about once a week is what I've been trying to stick to there. You can explore all the platforms where we currently live stream. You can connect with others. We got a Discord chat. We got CanaryCry.Community, which is our own little social media, and other social media that you can find us through. You can also support the show right there using the Linktree site, or, there's multiple other ways to become a producer. But that being said, are you ready for a break, Basil?
Let's take a break. But by the way, real quick, you called CanaryCry.Community our own little social media. You throw this little adjective in a lot, Gonzo, and we need to find another name, another word for you to use, because CanaryCry.Community is not little. It's jam-packed with Canarians who have eschewed the Facebook monolith of social media. And we have a nice little algorithm. Oh, now I said it. It's a nice...
you gave it away.
Tightly packed social media...
It's a bubble.
Platform, yes, where you can get together with other people online there. It's a great spot. Go check it out, CanaryCry.Community.
Yeah, that's why you're the hype man, and I try to stay humble. We're just a small operation here, Basil. This is not You feel uncomfortable with the humble?
Yeah, don't say, it's diminutive. We don't want to diminutivize things that our producers are doing. So anyways, yes, let's take a break.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, folks, and thank some of our producers. But before we do, I want to let you know, after this break, we've got the New World Order / money section. You're not going to want to miss that, as well as some updates, some very interesting updates on the cyber pandemic. You might remember Klaus Schwab warning about that as well. So don't go anywhere, because after the break, we've got some good stuff. But first, we're thanking some producers, baby. That's right. I said producers. You may have noticed no advertisements, no affiliate codes, no super secret mail enhancement supplements, no freedom phones, nothing like that. Nope. We are completely independent media, which means we are on the value for value model. And it's an easy model. It makes sense once you think about it. We put out value. We do it 3 times a week, and we try our very hardest at it. And if you get any value out of what we do here on the show, you have the opportunity, or perhaps the responsibility, to put some value back in. And I say responsibility, not because for any other reason besides we have officially moved into an era where if you are relying on advertisers and affiliate programs and things like that to support the independent media that you appreciate, that is not independent media. If there are ads running, if there are partnership programs with Twitch or YouTube or anything like that, that is a piece of media that is taking corporate money. And everybody's got to support themselves in the way that they feel is correct. We decided that was not the right way to do it for us. Zero corporate money means zero corporate influence, which means truly independent media. And we can only stay that way with the help of our producers. And here's the thing, not everybody has to produce every episode. Let me get that clear. But if you are enjoying the show, if you get value out of what we do here, consider every once in a while putting some value back in. And if everybody got on board with that program, that is enough to keep the show going. And so, like I said, don't feel pressured if you don't feel led by the Spirit or whatever else leads you in that part of your life, that if you can't produce every episode, then don't even bother. If everybody, chose an episode here or there to produce, everything would be under control, baby. And that's why we take some time to thank our producers, because these are listeners who decided, yes, I do get value out of Canary Cry News Talk, and it is value that I don't get anywhere else. And if Canary Cry News Talk went away, that would be bad. And so I'm going to take some time and take some responsibility for my own media future and support the show. And we're going to thank them right now. Gonz, are you ready to thank some producers?
I am prepared.
He is prepared. All right. Now, the first way to become a producer, folks, is to head on over to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. Oh, wow. We had 0 Patreon supporters up until this very second, but we had a new Patreon supporter come in, and that is producer Cynthia.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Jingle Board.
Come on, Jingle Board.
Oh, it just did a weird thing here. There we go.
Wake up, Jingle Board. Do your job, man. It's time. Thank you very much, producer Cynthia, for being our one and only Patreon producer for today's episode. We appreciate your support. Now, here's the thing, folks. A lot of people don't like Patreon. The Patreon account continues to bleed support, so I guess a lot of people don't like Patreon. Hey, if you are a Patreon supporter and you did not purposefully cancel your support, you might want to go check that. Patreon has a history of slowly, secretly canceling people's support. Just a little note there. Go check that out. But if you just don't like Patreon, that's okay. That's why we have CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. That's right. CanaryCryRadio.com/support is a beautiful place, a wonderful place. Did you say something?
I said, oh. What happened in the document? Something exploded inside.
I don't know. That wasn't me. Do I need to do this?
I don't know. Was it you? It looks like it was you.
I didn't mean to.
I
didn't mean to do it.
Okay. It's okay. No biggie. Sorry. Didn't mean to distract. I just
trying to undo to see if something
it's
goes
doing
back.
That thing. This document, I don't know, for whatever reason, it's very slow. I type something in, takes about a minute for it to show up.
I'm hitting undo a whole bunch of times and I'm not seeing anything happen, so I'm a little worried. But
hopefully you're not undoing some other
something
stuff.
big happened. No, that's bad.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, this
is very bad. Oh no. Can you try to go back in the history or something?
I don't know.
Oh no, this messes up our entire section.
Happened real bad in the document, and I'm trying to undo too.
Hold on. Okay, I think
Here we go.
Did you fix it?
I think. I don't know.
Hold on.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think we're back. Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
Oh,
for whatever reason, okay.
Yeah, I know. A whole bunch got deleted.
Okay.
Sorry. Well, that's the fun of doing a live show, folks.
I know.
You get to experience
ridiculous
things like this. Okay, we got it fixed. We're back in business.
All right.
So yes, head on over to CanaryCryRadio.com/support. CanaryCryRadio.com/support. There we go. CanaryCryRadio.com/support is a wonderful place that you can support the show in all sorts of ways. If you're a cryptocurrency person, you can support the show with your cryptocurrency, or you can support the show on a monthly basis. Join up for a subscription plan there. If you want to commit to keeping the show going on a monthly basis, we thank all of our monthly supporters who commit to keeping the show going, no matter what, and we appreciate that very much. But if you don't like the the idea of commitment. You know, some people have got problems with commitment. Then that's okay. You can support the show on a one-time basis in any amount that you would like. Gonz, who do we have coming in on the... I was going to say PayPal, but there's more than the PayPal.
There's more than PayPal.
Who's supporting the show today? Who are our producers?
We're going to start off with something that came in the mail.
Snail mail.
We got a note here from Eternal Procrastinator.
Ooh,
and the note says...
I feel very connected to Eternal Procrastinator.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised they even got this note to us. It's just
it's very impressive.
It's impressive. The note reads, "It was with great sadness I learned of Natalina's death on one of your episodes. She was responsible for me returning back to Christianity through her Beyond Extraordinary podcast, and also turned me on to listening to Canary Cry Radio when she did a feature of your Age of Deceit documentary. Ooh. Please use the enclosed $1,000 to make Natalina an honorary part of the knighthood.
Oh my gosh.
Preferred title, Dame Natalina Aeterna Honorum."
Wow.
And, yeah, jingle request, Gavin Newsom, Women Rule.
Women rule!
Keep up the great work. Love your show as well. Regards, Eternal Procrastinator.
Wow. That's very special, Eternal Procrastinator. Instaniting, dear friend of the show, Natalina, into the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. And if you're new to the show, the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames is an honorary place filled with honored people who have supported the show in the amount of $1,000 or more, either all at once or over any period of time. And that is what's happening here. Eternal Procrastinator is crediting a damehood to our dear friend Natalina, who we will knight or dame. Are we doing that this episode?
I don't know. I didn't actually plan it, but we could.
Well, we could. We might as well.
Okay.
Oh, we'll have to grab the stuff and put it at the end of this break. And yeah, let's do that. We'll knight Natalina on this episode. Okay. That is just so special. My goodness. Thank you very much. And that makes Eternal Procrastinator the executive producer for this episode 407.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you very much. Executive producer, Eternal Procrastinator.
Thank you very much. Moving on here, we have JC.
JC, and it's a big day for JC because producer JC is on a streak. And this is the 33rd episode that JC has supported, which means JC is now among the ranks of the Illuminated Master Lizard Shill. Illuminated Lizard Master Shill. Illuminated Lizard Master Shill. Lizard. Illuminated Lizard Master Shill. Officially solidifying an Illuminated Lizard Master Shill. The most exciting streak. The most exciting streak. Thank you very much, JC. And JC is one of our associate executive producers for today's show as well.
Yes, you are executive associate producer for this episode. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Enjoy it while it lasts, JC. And JC comes in with $1.33 which also makes him one of our Illuminati handlers for the day. JC.
It's multiple.
Wow, this is a jingle extravaganza for JC. You deserve it, buddy.
Multitasking.
Yes, and JC sent a note that said, "My skin suit has shed and my scales are nice and shiny." Oh, he's molted for the event.
Yes.
Thankful for the opportunity to support B&G in this ministry. I'm currently planning the South Carolina meetup with producer Morv. Ah, there they are. We found you. It will include 4-foot wide B&G cutouts to take pictures with. Oh. I don't know if that's a joke or not, but I would love to see those photos.
4 feet is a little much.
I think it's perfect. Don't let guys, they're not going to listen to you, and they shouldn't, because 4 foot wide printouts of our heads is exactly what the South Carolina meetup needs. Thank you very much, JC, and again, congratulations.
Yep, congrats and thank you. Next up, we have Aaron J.
Aaron J. Now, Aaron J is on a streak. Been supporting 32 episodes in a row, almost to that 33 level. You're almost there, Aaron J. Now, Aaron J., for just to remind everybody, he produces the show in the amount of his current Fortnite level, and he comes in with 133 today, which also makes him one of our Illuminati handlers. Illuminatus! And, of course, that makes Aaron J. one of the associate executive producers for the day.
Oh.
Yes, you man, you are executive associate producer for this episode. Enjoy it while it lasts.
The note says, I can't recall ever hearing Rebecca Black's song at all back in the day.
Oh, you are a... Oh,
he must be... He's a youngin'. He's a youngin'.
Oh,
I don't know his exact age, but he's sort of an elder Gen Z, which would have put him in like...
Oh, you were protected.
He would have been in like, what, he 12 years old-ish when Rebecca Black came out?
Well, actually, that would probably mean that he had to hear it somewhere. 12,
It depends. It depends if he was an iPad child or not.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
So I gave it a listen. Not the most pleasant experience I've had. But I like how the Friday jingle is just so eerie.
Yeah, he likes it. I think we got to bring it back.
No, well, we'll see. Thank you very much, Associate Executive Producer Aaron J.
Thank you, Aaron J. Next up, we have Anonymous.
Yes, Anonymous comes in with 103.30. And Anonymous is also an associate executive producer.
Yes, you man, you are executive associate producer for this episode. Enjoy it while it lasts.
You know, I'm enjoying this multiple associate executive producerships.
Yeah.
It might give us a chance to mix it up with multiple jingles as well. Yes, comes in with 103.30, which is makes him one of our Illuminati handlers for the day. And a note, please keep anonymous. I love the show and found you guys 5 years ago through the Facelikethesun YouTube channel and have enjoyed for years. Thank you for everything you do. I love the anti-ad stance, community interaction, and jingles. Well, thank you very much, Anonymous. We love your associate executive producership.
Thank you very much. Yep, appreciate it. Next up, we have Jacob W.
Jacob W. comes in for 103.30. Also an Illuminati handler. Illuminatus!
Man, we got a whole council today.
I love it. I love it so much. Thank you, guys. And Jacob W., that makes him one of our associate executive producers.
Yes, you man, you are executive associate producer for this episode. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Thanks for your ministry, Jacob W. says. May our Lord Jesus sustain you with peace in these tumultuous times. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, next up we have Amanda P.
Amanda P is... Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, so... Amanda P. is actually Amanda R., who is now known as Amanda P. So thank you very much, Amanda P. And Amanda P. is on a streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
Interesting PR there.
Oh.
PR
Amanda
move.
P. Amanda P. comes in for 34.63, which I believe is 33 plus fees. And a note that, Amanda P. 3 episodes in a row, which means Amanda P.'s heating up, baby.
He's heating up!
Happy Friday, amigos. The happy face emoji with blocks was just a smiley in parentheses. Thank you for the clarification, but I really enjoyed the brainstorming on what it was. P.S. Thanks for the reminder that I never got around to changing my name on PayPal. Whoops, God bless. Soon to be Amanda P. Dun, dun, dun. Soon to be Amanda P. Okay.
That makes sense.
Well, you heard it here first. That's your new name is Amanda P. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amanda P. Next up, we have Brooke B.
Brooke B comes in with 33.47. And no note that I could see. Did you see a note from Brooke?
I did not.
Okay. Well, that still makes Brooke one of our Illuminati handlers, I believe. Illuminatus! Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brooke B. Next up, we have Heather Russ.
Heather Russ is on a streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
22 episodes in a row, comes in for 1413, and a note says, Happy Friday, Gonz and Basil. Several years ago, I came across Truthstream Media's The Rice Experiment video, and it changed my life. In just 20 minutes, it changed my internal dialogue, it changed how I spoke to others, and even how I spoke to my animals. We don't have kids, they add. Okay. You can have animals and kids, but okay.
And you can talk to your animals. That's a normal thing. I talk to my dogs all the time.
Well, yeah, I wasn't saying that. Anywho, it woke me up. But that also left me searching for more truth, so I opened up my Bible and began studying again. You guys rattled Russ's cage, so now we read scripture together. Ooh, amen. We would have never heard of Canary Cry if it weren't for Melissa and Aaron Dykes of Truthstream Media. We are so excited to watch their new documentary series this weekend. Your show keeps us awake to the biblical prophecy that is taking place daily. So much information and knowledge is put out daily that we just don't have the time to sort through and discuss what is truth and what are teachings inspired by Satan and his demons. Keep up the fine work. 1 Timothy 4:13. While I'm coming, continue applying yourself to public reading, to exhortation and teaching. Thanks again, Heather Russ. Thank you very much, Heather Russ.
Thank you, Heather Russ. And I need to
the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. I need to catch up on the documentary series. It's on the whole monetary history and Mel was saying that, they were going to do like a 2-3 hour documentary. It ended up being like 8 or 9 hours or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so they broke it up into chunks. But I need to watch that. I've been meaning to find time to do that. But thank you very much, Heather Russ. I'll let Mel know of the kind words here. So
okay,
thank you. Next up, we have 57 Chevy Girl.
She's back. 57 Chevy Girl's on a streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
3 episodes in a row means 57 Chevy Girl is heating up.
She's heating up!
Comes in with 1175. Happy Friday. Hope you both have a wonderful weekend. 57 Chevy Girl. We will, and back at you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, 57 Chevy Girl. Next up, we have Sir Salmon's Night of the Fishes.
There it is. Sir Salmon's is on a streak. 23 episodes in a row, coming in for 1111. Says, Happy Friday to all Canarians. Hope everyone is well and living in the promises of God. Don't forget your booties, because it's cold outside. Many blessings from the fishes. Thank you very much, Sir Salmons.
Thank you, Sir Salmons. There we go. There's your little thingy there. Next up, we have Sigra the Beast.
Sir, that's Sir Sigra the Beast to you.
Yes, Sir
and
Sigra the Beast.
Sir Sigra is on a streak. 4 episodes in a row. Comes in with the 1001 producership.
1001. Amen.
Amen. And a note that says, I just read a story where a blue-collar trucker only spent $153 to unseat a powerful 20-year state senator in New Jersey. I think that deserves the trucker jingle. And may he not turn into another typical politician. Did you hear about this?
No, I did not.
I did not hear about it either. Well, that's very interesting, and that's cheap too. $153.
This is
Great.
Ducky. What's your 1020? Over. Check in. We got us a convoy. Over.
That's right. Shout out to our Canary Cry truckers out there. Who's next?
Next up, thank you very much, Sigur the Beast. Next up, we have Doctor Who Dundat.
Doctor Who Dundat's on a streak. 17 episodes in a row. And Doctor Who Dundat, what?
Nothing. Never mind.
Comes in with 831.
Yep.
And says, sorry for the lateness. Okay. Thank you very much, Doctor Who Dundat, and thanks for your continued support.
Yep. Thank you. Next up, we have Scott K.
Scott K. You know he's on a streak. And Scott K has been supporting the show for 69 episodes in a row.
Whoa.
Yeah, funny number. And supports the show for 777. Thank you very much, Scott K.
Thank you, Scott K. Next up, we have Morv.
Morv is on a streak. Morv is going to be part of the planning of the South Carolina meetup, everybody. And Morv is on a 19-episode streak, comes in for a pocket full of sevens. Thank you very much, Morv.
Thank you, Morv. Next up, we have Gail M.
Gail M, you know she's on a streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
Supporting the show 46 episodes in a row. She comes in with a pocket full of sevens. And a note here. Update on her situation says, Hola amigos Dolce, my bro is stage 4 liver cancer with metastasis. All we can do is call in palliative team to manage his comfort so Kerrigan, daughter, and I can focus on loving him 24/7. He was a maintenance alcoholic for 50 years, medicating his post-Vietnam PTSD. The cirrhosis was so horrific it turned into cancer. Alcohol kills. I pray that our new producer, who is newly sober, to hear my words. Yeah. If I can do it, 36 years clean on October 29th, 1986.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go. A little bit of, well, first of all, let's call on the producers.
Producers, assemble!
That's right, producers. We'll continue to keep Gail M. and her brother and entire family on the list for prayers of comfort and things like that as they make it through sort of this sort of final stages of this whole saga, which has been very difficult on all of them. But it sounds like finally they got some answers. Yeah. And prayers for you and your whole family, Gail.
Yep.
So sorry to hear that.
Yeah, been praying for you. Okay. All right. You want to run through what?
Yes, I'll run through those. I do have one latecomer to give some credit to, if you want to write this down. This is producer. Let me see if there was anything. Nope. Okay. Andrea L. Comes in. Yes, comes in for $33.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. There we go. Thank you very much, Andrea. You made it just across the line there, and we appreciate it very, very much.
How do you spell that? Sorry.
Andrea.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to run through the rest of the producers under 777, and that includes Sir Casey the Shield Knight. And Sir Casey's on a streak, of course. 79 episodes in a row. Thank you, Sir Casey. Next, we have Adam42 came in. Thank you very much. Adam42 coming in for 442.
442.
Next, Child of God is on a streak.
Thank you, Child of God.
On a streak.
Oh, streak. Sorry.
14 episodes in a row, which means Child of God is one away from their goal of hitting Rocket Man status. Almost there, Child of God. Thank you for your continued support. Pocket full of threes plus fees. Next, Shagan came in.
Thank you, Shane and
That's
Reagan.
Shane and Reagan coming in for threes and fees. Thank you, thank you. Next, we have Runk Smash, who's on a streak.
Thank you, Runk Smash.
31 episodes in a row. We got some microfiction from him later. And lastly, we have Ciara, who is on a streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
42 episodes in a row, which means Ciara has become the answer.
Carry this message to Hiram a bit.
And Ciara is below the note reading, but we do want to. She does want to remind everybody that about the meetup tomorrow. So we'll talk about that in the second break there.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we need to grab some knighthood language.
Oh, right.
Gonzo.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so why don't you grab that if you could and set that up real quick while I remind everybody about the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. And remember, you can always check the list of the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. It is mostly reserved for those who have supported the show in the amount of $1,000 or more. Like I said, all at once or spread out. You are responsible for your own accounting there. We're not keeping track of everybody. But when you believe that you have hit $1,000 or more, go ahead, send us an email with your best version of the accounting. We'll just take a quick look at it. And then you must choose your name. If you're, you can choose whether to be a knight or a dame, whatever, whoever wants to be what. I'm not going to enforce anything. There's no way of me of knowing, but usually the knights choose a name and a protectorate. So something like Knight George, Protector of the Wormicorns, or something like that. And same with the dames. So if you believe that you have reached the level to be knighted or damed, think about that beforehand. Put it in your email. Just helps sort of streamline this process. You can always look at the list of Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames at CanaryCry.Radio.com/knighthood. And we will occasionally have some sort of knighting or daming special, usually on a special number of the show. Last one was 333, which we had to do. We might be doing one for 444. We'll see, but don't wait for it. So there you go. How you doing, Gonz?
Ready to go.
Ready to go. Let me scroll down to the good work you've done on our document here, Gonzo. And okay, let's do it. I'm ready. Are you ready? Here, let me grab my battle axe here. Nice, yes.
Sounds more like a sword, but
yeah, I know, it's weird. It's one of those weird battle axes that sounds like a long, thin sword.
Well, mine is a longer, thinner sword. It's a katana.
Katana. Okay, everybody rise, because we want to call up Natalina, who is a very special friend of the show and has been introduced to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames for so many reasons. But thank you to Eternal Procrastinator for supporting in Natalina's name of $1,000 or more. We now pronounce Natalina as Dame Natalina Eterna Honorem, who we welcome to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, where we have the belt of truthful truthiness, breastplate of righteousness, custom fit Birkenstocks to carry forth the gospel of peace, the shield of ferocious faith, the helmet of substantiating salvation, the supernatural sword of the spirit, and of course, adorable samurai babies, infinitely cute kitties for cuddling. And if you're hungry, we have fancy feast wet food, carved Cosmo the crisper cow, and for Natalina, we'll have deep forest music at the table as well. Welcome to the Canary Cry Knights and Dames Roundtable, to Dame Natalina Eterna Honorem. And the crowd goes wild. Here we go. Thank you very much for... Unbelievable. Thank you, Eternal Procrastinator, for this very special opportunity to Dame Natalina. And we'll make sure to put her on the list so everybody knows.
Yep. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay. Well, I think it may be time to continue on with the show, Gonzo.
Yes, it's wake-up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
World order.
This is Bloomberg, and sometimes I don't like reading opinion pieces, but sometimes that's where all the juicy stuff is, where they're laying out the agenda. And this is a Bloomberg opinion, and the headline here: the coming shock that will transform the U.S. economy. The coming shock, Basil.
Oh, there's not a shock already that has happened?
It's coming up. And the photo here...
Yeah, I was just going to say, what in the world is this photo?
The photo is of a man dressed up as Elvis,
You think that's a man dressed? You don't think that's the real Elvis? They didn't find him.
I don't
That's
think
not the
they've
coming
done,
shock.
I don't think
The
they've
coming
done the
shock.
clone.
We found Elvis clones, and it will transform the U.S. economy.
And he's got his guitar draped on him, open shirt, the whole deal, the sparkly stuff going on, the hair, the sunglasses, and singing into a laptop, it looks like, which will all make sense as I read this piece here. And it says, the China shock was one of the most significant economic events in the last 2 decades in America. Most of the shock is now over. Chinese imports are competitive with much of the output of U.S. manufacturing, and China has already displaced many U.S. jobs. But there is a new and possibly larger shock on the horizon. Call it the teleshock.
The teleshock, okay.
The teleshock, or the rise in telecommuting, received a major impetus from the pandemic when so many Americans were forced to work from home. As it turns out, many prefer this new arrangement. In any case, a fair amount of work from a distance is likely to persist, most of all in the technology industry where the fundamental products are digital. Microsoft, for example, has announced that work from a distance will continue indefinitely. Employers are only beginning to adjust to these new circumstances, however, so the full consequences of the teleshock are not yet clear. The key development will be this: to the extent that the work can be done online, companies that hire the best workers from around the world. This has long been the case in computer programming, where it is standard practice to hire talent from India. Similar trends will come to many more sectors, revolutionizing labor markets. A given job can go to someone from Nigeria, Sweden, the Philippines, Pakistan, or many other locals or locales. Among the big losers will be the American upper middle class, especially those with jobs connected to information technology and those who can work from home. They will face much more competition in the labor market than before. They may have some natural advantages of education and cultural fluency, but they are not in general smarter or harder working than much of the rest of the world. Isn't that kind of an obvious thing? Is it like breaking apart some weird American exceptionalism that doesn't truly exist? Anyway, in other words,
I don't know.
Yeah. In other words, if you have had a relatively comfortable job during the pandemic, it might now be time to worry. I don't know, Basil, should we start worrying? We've been fairly comfortable with our job positions during the pandemic.
I don't know if I've ever stopped worrying.
That's true. You're right. Yeah, the back end of the show has been pure anxiety for like 10 years, basically. The more culturally specific your knowledge and skills, however, the more protected you will be. Okay. Doing math and writing code are universal skills, but if you are a wedding consultant, even an online wedding consultant, you're probably not going to lose business to a competitor from Zimbabwe, no matter how sharp. On the whole, more people will end up in jobs that feel very American, for lack of a better word. Legally protected sectors, law, medicine, and other professions requiring occupational licenses will also get more crowded. Among the winners will be the American managers, shareholders, and consumers.
Oh, this is the first time I've heard this. Somebody's actually optimistic about American consumers and their future.
Managers will be able to hire the world's best talent, at least from the English-speaking world, while productivity gains will translate into more profitable companies and better and cheaper products. Big business will likely benefit more than small business. The larger companies have the networks and the brand names to attract the best overseas talent, and if a worker overseas cannot perform all the functions of a particular job, a larger company can more easily fill in the gaps with other talent. It will also be very good for American U.S. soft power. U.S. soft power. The U.S. has a lot of successful, well-known multinational corporations. Think of all the many people around the world who might like to work for Apple, for example. American culture also seems to produce highly talented managers, and U.S. business is used to working with people from many different cultures. This is in contrast to, say, Japan, which will not benefit as much as the U.S. from the teleshock, while Anglophone-friendly countries such as Sweden and the Netherlands may do well. The teleshock is likely to continue for a considerable period of time, perhaps longer than the China shock. It is conventional wisdom that software is eating the world. As software and tech become larger and more important, more of their jobs can be outsourced. The process will have no natural end. Furthermore, more people in the world will learn English, including in low-wage countries, so the potential competitive supply of affordable workers will not be exhausted anytime soon. It is unlikely there's any efficacious way to avoid the teleshock. If a company can have online meetings, it can hire employees through online interviews, and it won't have to get them U.S. visas or work permits. Both companies and workers will get better at managing these arrangements, and more software will be created to handle hybrid workflows, part remote, part in person for employees. This new world will create a remarkable boost in both competitive pressures and opportunity. Like the China shock, the teleshock is likely to be one of the defining economic developments of 21st century America.
This is so funny how they keep going back and forth on the telework conversation.
Yeah.
In the middle of the pandemic, it was like, oh, this is the new world. This is going to be forever. We're always going to work from home. And then earlier this year, I'd say like right when the vaccine started coming out and being widely available, you had all these big articles and big companies like Microsoft saying, oh, don't get used to it. We're canceling, work from home programs. We're going back to normal. And that lasted for about 3 months. And now we're back to, no. Yes, this work from home thing. This is forever. So get used to it.
Oh, and it speaks to the metaverse too. That's the whole point.
Totally.
Right? Yeah.
Well, and notice how this comes out after the metaverse extravaganza.
Yeah.
I think the metaverse announcements or public disclosure, again, we've been talking about the metaverse for a while, but the sort of the publicity of the metaverse finally sort of solidified like, yeah, okay, we'll all just move on to the digital world and we're fine like this. Yeah, it's a big thing. That'll be very interesting. The mix between.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Just the mix between telework and robots.
Yeah, absolutely. Who was the guy we reported on? Maybe last episode, maybe the one before that, where he was basically saying like, "Oh, don't worry. Like some of the software will be just cheap stuff you can buy for $1 that some guy in another country will." A
teenager and yeah. That was Mark Zuckerberg said that.
Oh, that was Zuckerberg. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. You can buy a holographic TV for your metaverse for $1 made by some high school kid in India.
Right. Yeah. So interesting how that's part of the whole thing here. With the jobs that will be flooded by, I don't know, not just foreigners, but online personas, and jobs that'll be a little more protected in that regard.
Well, and it's all tied up in this great reset thing too, the globalization of the workforce.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, and they don't really, they kind of allude to it in this Bloomberg article, but they don't really say it outright, which is like, they said they made the example of the wedding planner, The wedding planner in America is probably safe for still planning American weddings because you're not going to have someone from Zimbabwe, they said, plan your wedding in America, which I'm not sure why exactly that's inherent. I actually don't think that that's necessarily inherent. If you are teleplanning a wedding anyways and doing it all online, there's no reason why somebody in, sure, maybe not Zimbabwe, but Sweden couldn't, take your business. So I don't know if that's a great idea. But it's all very specifically for the jobs that you can do over the internet. And they don't even really talk about a lot. All of the, there's this big push for American manufacturing and American blue collar work and American energy sector things. That's been America's biggest problem, is getting rid of industries like that. That's what's made us so reliant on China in the first place. So, I think the robotics thing is the issue that they're not talking about here as far as manual labor. But I think for the most part, specialized manual labor will be safe from the, at
least for a little bit.
For a little bit, yeah. I mean, and that all depends on leadership. It all depends on, whoever's president continuing to bring manufacturing and stuff like that back to the country, which no president has done a great job at.
Yeah.
Trump made some steps towards, but certainly didn't come close to solving any problems. So, anywho, it's very interesting.
Well, it's fascinating to see that part of the narrative here, this opinion piece in Bloomberg, is that it's going to transform the economy. If you go to CNN Business, their headline says, if the labor shortage continues, the U.S. economy won't be able to recover. So there's a whole, the traditional setup, not the setup, but the way things were in terms of the economy and the workforce and everything, obviously disrupted. CNN representing the old way, it's all falling apart. And then Bloomberg saying, it's all just going to change. And, of course, the robot conversation here. Just a note, this is VentureBeat. They have a headline here. Cloud data centers anticipated to become largely robot-dependent by 2025.
Yeah, that's
less
very
than 4
interesting.
years, like 3.5 years. All cloud data centers are going to be robot-dependent? Whoa.
Yeah. That is very interesting.
I don't know if that's good. We're giving him. It's almost like, you can do it here. Here's the weapon that you can.
Let's just
wield.
completely take out the human element of our most sensitive infrastructure. These cloud data centers that make everything possible.
Yeah. The other thing.
I was going to say, you want to get into the cyber pandemic stuff?
Yeah. Am I going ahead? I guess I'm going ahead.
You're going ahead, buddy.
Oh no. What am I doing?
The COVID-19 crisis would be seen as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber pandemic.
Major cyber pandemic.
Why does he sound like a villain? Some people new to the show might not realize that that's like an actual dude. That's the guy who started the World Economic Forum talking.
It's not from
some
a
actor.
movie.
Yeah,
that's Klaus Schwab, the head of the World Economic Forum, who is basically an evil evil organization guiding the hand of the global market right now.
Yeah.
Here's something to start out with. This is from CNBC.com. The headline: Facebook should not have bowed to public outrage. And shut down its facial recognition system. Former world chess champion says.
Ooh, cred.
Yeah.
It's got some cred.
So, what in the world? Okay. So this is coming from Lisbon, Portugal, actually. Facebook is wrong to shut down its facial recognition system, according to Garry Kasparov, the former world chess champion and chairman of the Human Rights Foundation. The decision, announced Tuesday, is stupid, Kasparov told CNBC at the Web Summit Tech Conference in Lisbon. Quote, it's bowing to this public outrage, Kasparov said Wednesday, just days after Facebook rebranded itself to Meta. Quote, personally, I think it's stupid for a simple reason. Facebook can shut it down. The Chinese will not. Facebook did not immediately respond to a CNBC request for comment. So this is Kasparov, who I believe is the Russian chess champion, basically calling Mark Zuckerberg weak for listening to the stupid public. You do not listen to the public when it comes to their privacy.
I like how it's the whole thing is that China's not going to delete their data.
Yeah.
So how can you, Facebook, if you want to compete?
Yeah, interesting. Putting not the U.S. up against China.
No.
Putting Facebook up against China. Born into what was then the Soviet Union, Kasparov became the youngest ever undisputed world chess champion in 1985 at age 22. In 1997, he became the first world champion to lose a match to a computer, IBM's Deep Blue. Today, he says he is pro-technology and against over-regulation. Quote, any technological future that's available for me doesn't make any sense to block it, Kasparov says. Privacy campaigners would strongly agree. This is the head...
Disagree.
Yes.
Campaigners would disagree. The privacy campaigners disagree.
This is the head of the Human Rights Foundation. Okay. Now, remember, the UN civil rights watchdogs are coming out and saying AI and facial recognition is a huge human rights what am I trying to say? Violation, yeah. Huge human rights violation. AI, facial recognition, is putting journalists in danger, minorities in danger. It's tearing families apart. It's the apocalypse. That's the United Nations human rights organizations. And yet Kasparov, Soviet Kasparov, head of the Human Rights Foundation, is saying no, you must let the robots take over and destroy us all. This guy's a complete shill is what he is. He added, quote, it's insane to think that in the era of global internet you can actually start forcing companies in America or Europe to follow these rules and to abandon new features. Again, he's sort of mixing up Soviet-era regulation with Facebook responding to public outrage. Their customers. He's not understanding the free market nature of what Zuckerberg is responding to, a capitalist responding to his customers' desires. And yet you've got Soviet-era Kasparov saying, oh, you don't listen to government regulations. You don't listen to the invisible hand of the market. You take over the world and you ask no questions. The decision to shut down the facial recognition system on Facebook comes amid a barrage of news reports over the past month after Francis Haugen, a former employee turned whistleblower / CIA shill, released a trove of internal company documents to news outlets, lawmakers, and regulators. Facebook said in a blog post that there are many concerns about the use of facial recognition technology in society, noting how regulators are still in the process of providing a clear set of rules governing its issue. Quote, amid this ongoing uncertainty, we believe that limiting the use of facial recognition to a narrow set of use cases is appropriate, the social media giant said. Against all odds, in a moment of humanitarian clarity. Ending the use of the facial recognition system is a part of a company-wide move away from this kind of broad identification, Facebook said. In 2012, Facebook acquired Israeli startup Face.com for reportedly under $100 million, snapping up a team of developers who focused on facial recognition for mobile apps. The deal came just months after Facebook acquired Instagram, CEO Mark Zuckerberg's biggest effort at the time to move the business to mobile. In July 2020, the company agreed to pay $650 million settlement after it was sued for collecting and storing biometric data without first getting user consent, which is prohibited by the Illinois Biometric Information Privacy Act. So there you go. But yeah, interesting how in the middle of the article, they just drop any mention of Kasparov whatsoever. He is just sort of like the shiny object to get people to read this. But very interesting. Now, what are the details? What are the technical details? What are the plans? What's the schedule on Facebook limiting facial recognition? I don't know. Could it all be a big ruse? Probably.
Yeah, I was going to say that there's no way to truly audit that they got, number one, that they got rid of the data.
And that's the beauty of self-regulation.
Yeah.
This is a classic move in American capitalism.
Yeah.
When threats of regulation come, you say, whoa. How about we just regulate ourselves? We don't need to get the government in on this. We'll just do our own thing and we'll report back. And then, company goes back and says, okay, we did it. We self-regulated. And Zuckerberg and Facebook famously saying they do one thing and infamously doing the exact opposite. They've been caught over and over and over and over for this. There is literally no reason to believe that they're actually shutting this down, especially while they are in the midst of a self-proclaimed rebrand and brand, reconstruction.
Yeah, this is convenient action.
You have to assume this is a complete lie and that they're, Machiavelli-ing in the background.
It's the field surveys coming back saying, most people are still pretty uncomfortable with biometric tracking. Like, oh, okay, well, we'll roll out the no more facial recognition. There's no way that, number one, I am not confident that they would, number one, do this, but number two, that they would hide the data so it's accessible later or via different ways to get the data. There's just like no guarantee whatsoever for any of it.
No, and they're not going to let any auditors in. They're not going to, they're just, take our word for it. We've lied to you literally dozens of times before.
Well, they learn from the best. They do have the guidance of thousands of years of potential lizard people mandates and protocols. So I'm not
there's not a single reason to trust Facebook.
Not one. Okay, so this is one I was supposed to throw in the cloud data centers run by robots story to kind of continue on with the cyber pandemic story. So, yep, that's happening. But
so
also,
that happened.
Yep, World Economic Forum, that's the weforum.org headline, cybersecurity is no longer enough. Businesses need cyber resilience.
I love it. Just making up new terms.
Well, especially because with one of our friends, Greg Outlaw, doing the whole resilient truth thing, trying to how do you preserve privacy and all that kind of stuff on the internet. But here in this article, it says, today we work from anywhere on more devices, more networks facing more risk than ever before. Widespread phishing, malware, ransom attacks or ransomware attacks, and other frauds pose a risk not just to individuals or platforms, but to entire economies, governments, and our way of life. It's our way of life, Basil.
Yeah.
It's so crazy that we live in a generation where just doing things online is just a way of life. And it is under threat by all these different things. Yet the way we think about securing our businesses and our data hasn't really kept up. Business resources are often still allocated to defense cybersecurity, which is focused on protecting the confidentiality and integrity of data. But these defenses are proving insufficient in the face of attacks that grow more sophisticated by the day. We need a cyber resilience. We need cyber resilience in addition to cybersecurity, and it's important to understand the difference. All right, so the World Economic Forum, Mr. Cyber Pandemic.
You know what's fun?
Educating us, yeah.
On this World Economic Forum, they had a little pop-up at the top, live. You could watch the COP26 stuff. I clicked on over to that. Today's video is Accelerating Youth Climate Action with the Global Shapers. So it's a bunch of youth climate activists. And guess who's not on the list?
Greta Thunberg.
Greta Thunberg was not invited to speak.
Oops, wrong one. This one.
Blah, blah, blah.
There you go. It's close by. Blockchain and blah, blah. It's next to each other.
Yeah, so we've got some new players. Somebody named, and it's, it's the sort of multicultural experience they're trying to bring here. There's, let's see, what are the names? Wadia Ait Hamza, Rumaitha Al-Busaidi, Lucy Tong, Courage Kamla Asasi, and Wei Hong Pak, and then somebody called John Dutton. But it's a very, it's the diverse crew that they wanted. We don't need any boring Swedish girls on the list here.
Well, I heard Adam John over No Agenda talking about how they're done with Greta. They don't need her anymore.
Oh, she's off the list, man. That's why she's coming so hard. I don't
know if I fully buy that. I think in some ways, yes. Like maybe with the main narrative, but because they built her up so much, they're not going to just let her do whatever. They'll assign somebody to kind of keep her
I don't know.
Even if it's for controlled opposition.
If I can see some evidence for it, that's great. I think what you're saying is totally possible. And what I was getting at was, if you haven't heard, listeners, she has been out front of COP26 every day, running these big rallies. In quotation marks, rallies and protests and talking trash about the COP26 and how useless it is. I'm thinking she just, I'm thinking they got over it. They got over her. They're like, your time is up. We need somebody younger. You've gotten a little bit too much bad attention. You poked fun at us a few times earlier this year. We don't want you to come speak. And she's like, oh, you're not going to invite me? Okay, well, I don't need you. I'm going to go out there and do it anyways and get more attention than COP26, which she has done. And, there's more people sort of on Greta's side than on their side. Could be some controlled opposition. But, she's had a couple of really weird quotes recently that just really don't fit in. I don't know. All I'm saying is something weird is happening with Greta. I don't think it's as simple as a controlled opposition. I think that's a little bit too easy. And it's just not even quite fitting into controlled opposition territory for me. It could be wrong, and I have no extra evidence.
I think that's why it would make sense, and maybe not. Maybe it's meant to.
I think she got dumped.
Well, maybe it's meant to be that period of, discarding, but also once an asset, always an asset. I don't think it's just maybe move it off the board, the game board. Put it in throw her in the dugout or something. I don't know.
They're testing out some additional players. You've got this list of speakers. See if any of them can catch on.
Take a breather on the bench.
Yeah, they're all pretty boring. I don't know. I'm put in a position where I want to support Greta. Come on, don't
see,
don't
the
throw
psyop
Greta.
has worked.
Don't throw Greta away. Keep her. She's way more fun than these other people.
There's a lot of people in the conservative realm pointing out the hypocrisy of how many was it, like 400 private jets descending on COP26 or whatever. It's like the same point Greta's making. So
yeah. Maybe there's not a lot of love for COP26. That's for sure.
No.
Most of the leaders didn't even show up. Biden was like one of the only world leaders who actually showed up. Everybody else just sent representatives.
His body double showed up. Listen,
yeah, the robot.
His avatar cloned. Okay, so back to this World Economic Forum article. Why cyber resilience over cybersecurity? Cyber resilience starts with nailing the cybersecurity basics. At Salesforce, we call it doing the common uncommonly well. This includes patching vulnerabilities, detecting and mitigating threats, and educating employees on how to defend company security. But we need to be doing these things continuously, not just once a year. Beyond that, businesses need to build resilience into every part of the business, from business process mapping to engineering service availability to critical vendor dependency. They need to limit the impact of cybercrime to a company's brand, finance, legal, and customer trust obligations. While these areas typically receive limited attention, resources, or executive focus, they are significant elements in the case of a real threat. The aim of cyber resilience is clear enough: to ensure operational and business continuity with minimal impact. But the reality can be harder to pin down because there's currently no good way to measure cyber resilience. As leaders, we need to have a certain level of confidence in our ability to respond to an attack, to maintain our customers' trust, to absorb the financial, legal, and brand impact, and get back to business. But there's no widely accepted cyber resilience framework, no maturity model, and I think there should be. After all, there are countless other maturity models which allow businesses to measure capabilities, digital transformation, supply chain, cybersecurity, and data management, to name just a few. What might cyber resilience maturity look like? This is not just about the ability to respond and recover. It's how quickly we recover and what we prioritize. I'm not proposing another checklist or self-assessment methodology. A mature cyber resilience approach should be flexible, adaptable, and continuously improving. I propose we design a framework that describes a set of characteristics that helps a company and its leadership understand what cyber resilience is and how it will be achieved. Okay, the framework would describe an approach and attitude toward delivering cyber resilience. No, it's just an attitude, Basil. It's the attitude change.
Yeah, right. And for those who have any sort of first-hand connection to cybersecurity people, you don't have to be a cybersecurity expert, but if you know a couple and you've had some conversations with them, you can kind of see right through what they're talking about here.
Yeah.
What the World Economic Forum is talking about here is basically nothing, which is just basically
they're loose, generic.
They're just
blasé.
creating a conversation for the sake of conversation. Cyber resilience is nothing. They're just talking about having, professional cybersecurity people on call all the time for your business. You okay?
Yeah, just something fell over here.
It
Ow,
happens.
that hurt. Okay.
Did it get you?
Yeah, it got me.
Did they activate
I don't
the
know.
lamp attack?
It hit me right in the shin bone there. That's pretty painful. I'm okay.
Anywho, it's just funny. It's hilarious. This is at least 50% of what the World Economic Forum does is they pick something that already exists, they rename it and say, we don't know what this looks like yet, but we're working on a framework. We're here to influence. We're influencers. Let's influence businesses to be better. And we don't know how we're going to do it yet, but we're telling you now we're going to figure it out. So pay attention and pay your dues.
Yeah. Well, we're not. Yeah, I like how they're like, we're not saying it's just another checklist. But here's a checklist, and one of them is change your attitude.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's all these like.
Weird.
Identify your crown jewels and critical capabilities. Okay, yeah, like know what's important in your business. All right, yeah. Looking at the interconnectedness of your systems and how if you have an IT guy, that's what he does. It's called a network and it's called a firewall. Adapting more quickly to the broader social and political climate. That's just some social justice nonsense thrown in there. Creating partnerships with peers, competitors, and public entities. That means join the cabal of global corporations and pay your dues to the World Economic Forum. Looking at how your team hires and develops skills. What? That's called running a business. You know how your team hires and develops skills. Changing your approach so that you're not only securing the business, but enabling the business through security.
Oh my gosh.
That means absolutely nothing. This is just a nonsense list.
Hey, look, Basil, well, we need to change our approach to not just running a podcast, but running through a podcast.
Yeah, this is consultancy hoodwinking is what they're doing here. This is what happens. This is how consultants hoodwink companies into getting their money, is they make up like a bunch of, excuse my acronym, BS, to convince, they throw out some good language there. Oh, just get the CEO on board. Yeah, they can spare $1 million. We'll come up and just spray all this nonsense all over everybody, and then we do our job. That's what this is. It's just it's a consultancy scam that the World Economic Forum is pulling right here.
Yeah, later it mentions NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, and how their framework brought change earlier on. And now it says the May 2021 presidential executive order states that, quote, the United States faces persistent and increasingly sophisticated malicious cyber campaigns that threaten the public sector, the private sector, and ultimately the American people's security and privacy. And, quote, it calls for a public-private partnership.
There it is.
To make
the stakeholder capitalism.
Yep, and it's been talked about for a long time regarding the New World Order. To make the bold changes necessary to protect hybrid cloud infrastructures.
It means nothing. It is just... that's one of the things with the World Economic Forum, too, why we bring so much stuff straight from their website, because half of their business is hiding in the shadows and influencing world leaders towards their ultimate goals. The other half of their job is just continuously putting out content on their website over and over and over. And a lot of their stuff, a lot of their articles are just like this, where it's like, literally not saying anything, but giving the impression that the World Economic Forum is like way more ahead of you, and how you need to just open yourself up to the illumination of Klaus Schwab. And it's like this weird sort of corporate brainwashing going on side by side with what they're actually doing, which is slinking around in the shadows of multinational organizations to create a cabal to bring about the New World Order and the Great Reset.
We need a great reset.
All right. Is that good for Cyberpandemic?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's take another break. Sounds like you need it there, pal.
Take a break.
I'm getting attacked.
How's your shin? Are
It's
you going to
fine.
make it through?
It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hit it with the bamboo every day, so it strengthens.
Yes, like in Shang Wu. What was the Marvel movie?
I don't know. Did
The
they do
Stop
that?
Asian. Yeah, they have a Stop Asian Hate Marvel
I
movie.
guess I haven't supported my kind.
Yeah, you
with
need to get on this.
I
It's
know,
your
yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's
your time in Marvel. You
Live
finally get.
vicariously through the superhero.
Yeah, it's all Asian stuff. Is a cool movie. Is all right. The 10 Rings is what it was called. That was like the subtitle.
Ooh.
Yes, there was a lot of our
10
hero
toe rings.
punching wood. Yeah,
Oh,
the
sweet.
10 toe ring. Punching wood, getting hit in the face and chest with sticks to toughen them up.
Sweet. Yep.
That's you.
Well, we thanked the producers that came in with their treasure in the first break. We're going to thank the producers that come in with their time and talent right now. And you can produce the show in many different ways. And timestamps. Am I missing something? Did we not get the timestamps last episode? I might be
I did
freaking out.
I did not pay attention to that last episode. It's not my department, but I did not see it.
Checking. I didn't see one coming.
Did not
It's okay.
happen to see it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. No biggie. We'll get back on it with the team of folks that do that. So thank you to all of you who spend the time to do timestamps. Yeah.
November 1st. No.
Yeah, I think
I'm
the
not seeing
3rd was the
anything
last
after
one.
the 3rd. Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing that I think is becoming more, it's developing, I would say, and I love the development taking place here. It's our jingle makers.
We have a new jingle. Never cry news.
Okay, and we got a couple jingles from, hold on here, Psalm 40, I think is the moniker here. Yeah, Psalm 40, and he sent us the 88 last episode. I think he redid that one. Do you want
we've
to
got to
play it, Basil?
re-edit. Yeah, let's play it. It's much different than it was before.
Yeah.
This baby hits 88 miles per hour. You're gonna see some serious. 88 miles per hour! 88 miles per hour! 88 miles per hour!
Flawless victory.
Thank you very much. Psalm 40?
Psalm 40. And he also sent in a track that we will be playing at the end of the show during the playlist there. And he sent us a note with it, and he said, sorry for blowing up your email, but after you guys forced me to edit my jingle. We forced him, Basil.
We forced him. We're very forceful.
But it's okay, because he says, I became inspired and composed a few full-length songs. I noticed some viewers complaining that there's not enough gospel in the show. So hopefully this will lighten their hearts. I have a couple more like this that are all ready to go, but I didn't want to overwhelm your inbox. Maybe this is something you can play at the end of the show. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I'll play a few seconds of it here. It is... oh, what happened to it? I thought I had it loaded and ready to go, and apparently I don't. Hold on, give me one moment. Get this downloaded.
You know, I have not heard this, so this will be the first time. I did not listen to it before, so this will be a new experience for myself as well as the listeners.
Yep.
You said he composed this himself.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm very
Come
excited.
on, computer. Here we go. All right, here it is. This is the Psalm 40 song here. It gets going. Give it a moment.
Ooh.
I waited patiently for the Lord. He inclined to me and heard my cry. He drew me up from the pit of destruction, out of the miry bog, and set my feet upon a rock, making my steps secure. He put a new song in my mouth.
I'm going to fade it out there, but you can listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, that's kind of a fun little vibe.
It's right up my alley in terms of the melody there, so I loved it. Great job there, Psalm 40. Mm-hmm. So we'll play the whole thing at the end of the show. Oh, you know what? That's where I had it ready to go here. I had it, I had it all queued up in the outro tab.
I knew you had a plan.
Yep. So there you go. Thank you, Psalm 40. Appreciate it. Next piece of jingle.
Did you play the new jingle?
The new jingle. Which ones? What do you mean?
The new jingle.
The one about that we have jingles?
We got a new jingle.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it. Okay.
I thought I did. I don't know. Am I losing my mind?
I don't know. I might be losing my mind. That's always very possible.
Yeah. Well, we'll let the chat tell us if we actually played it or not. And then we'll find out who's insane between the two of us.
We'll settle this once and for all.
This in the chat. Okay, so the other person bringing us jingles in this episode is Alex G. And actually, I think this was a clarification or an explanation. And he says, sorry about the quality of the last jingle and lack of explanation, but the verse is from Matthew 24:6 KJV, and I ripped from the Bible.com, and the boom, boom, boom is Mr. Hairy Legs Joe Biden talking about electric buses from episode 393. I was thinking it can be used in a Rumors of Wars segment or whatever. Hope you like it. Also, the verse goes on to say, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. Let us hold resolutely to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful. Love you, brothers and sisters in the Lord, and daddies B&G. And so that makes more sense now. The boom, 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 I guess, jingle.
So do we have a better version, or is it?
I think it is better.
That was my problem with it. It sounded like it was recorded like off on the voice recorder on a phone that it was playing in the same room as, or something.
I think it's a little louder. Let's hear it.
We shall hear wars and rumors of wars. And boom, boom, boom.
There you go. Okay. It's louder, a little distorted, but it's louder.
Yeah. Okay, we're getting there, though. Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alex G. I think that's it for the jingles. And by the way, chat telling us that, yes, we did play the jingle. So, Basil, you are losing your mind. I am fully intact.
Yeah, well, we already knew that.
All right, let's do some art. Where are you, art jingle button?
Oh my gosh.
What happened to my art button?
We're falling apart, folks.
Please.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
First up, Allie coming in with Basil in the Metaverse, lost in digital woods with birds that definitely are not real.
This is hilarious. So this is a remake, a re-illustration of that scene in Lord of the Rings when the hobbits are hiding underneath the root of the tree and the ring wraiths. Yeah, the ring wraiths are kind of looking for them and standing over them. Clash. I think it got memed pretty hard too. And so it's a remake of that, but instead of hobbits, it's me. I just keep getting beefier and beefier in her illustrations, and I appreciate it very much. Big beefy Basil underneath the roots of the tree there, big old googly eyes. But looming over him are the polygon-like digital birds hunting, looking, waiting, watching. Yes, I still have the digital birds flying around me now. I've not had one fly right at my face yet this episode, which I'm grateful for. They do circle above. And so thank you very much, Allie, for capturing the sort of low-level anxiety that does follow me all through this entire program now that I'm in my new virtual home that has these strange birds that fly around, and I have no idea how to get rid of.
What's that cartoon? Isn't in cartoons when you get hit in the head, the birds fly around your head? Maybe that's a mind control thing happening there. Like, you're just we're knocking you out, man. We're taking out your brain. Here are the little Tweety birds flying around.
The digital government drones. Oh, I'm looking deeper now, and I'm seeing
deeper.
That there's also butterflies. They put a lot of energy into like making this place feel alive. There's like butterflies and bees flying around.
A lot of metaphor there for the rebirth.
Yeah, there's one big black crow. Oh my gosh, he's coming at me. Okay, there he goes. Okay, thank you very much, Allie.
I love how we have like a video version of the podcast that we always live stream out.
Yeah.
Yet we still aren't able to show everything we're seeing.
I could actually. This new VR setup they have to make it significantly easier. I could give you my view. Not right now. I'll try to set it up for I've never tried it. I've never tested it.
It's okay. We'll do it another time.
It doesn't feel live right now. I don't want the best way to do that.
I don't want to dox your virtual closet and your virtual underwear.
It's pretty safe. But I don't want to test it live.
Okay. Well, we appreciate the artwork from Dame Allie. I think it was perfect. Perfect. We got one from Sir Dove.
One art piece from Dove.
Sorry, it's two from Sir Dove.
Two, yes. It's Street Team Day.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
For this week's Street Team Designs, I did a flyer for Daddy Fauci's new animal shelter and a sticker design for Francis and Friends. Hope you guys like them. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins.
Yes, and this is hilarious. Are we starting out with Fauci?
Yep.
Yeah, so Fauci's, he says here, finally a name you can trust. Fauci and Friends Animal Shelter. Find out more at CanaryCry.Party. And it's Fauci. He's sitting on a throne of file boxes.
Yes.
And surrounding him are a bunch of stoned dogs. Stoned, derpy-eyed dogs. Relating to, of course, the Fauci experiments on beagles, which is very problematic and will be the thing that finally takes him down. But yes, he's in his white lab coat here. He's got 7 little stoned dogs on his lap and around the throne, and one gigantic one at his feet. But the real fun part is when you zoom in to the file boxes that he's standing on. They've got labels. One of them is called Leaky Lab Docs. We've got Doggo Tests. We've got Da Truth. We've got some of these I gotta.
There's How to Rid Yourself of Two Amigos.
Of Two Amigos, yes, which he's done pretty successfully.
Yeah.
We've got. You might have to read some of these.
There's NIH files crossed out, and it says destroy. And then between the legs of Fauci there, How to Lie with Statistics.
Yeah, it's a classic.
There's a box that's just labeled evidence with a cross through it, line through it. Another one says Wuhan lab documents, and there's lines crossed out, and then under it just says junk. And the other little detail to point out is Fauci's lab coat there. It's got the fancy cursive Daddy Fauci, and then under it says Truth Teller.
That's funny.
So there you go.
That's very funny. Thank you very much, Dove. And next, we have another sticker, and it's a picture of the Pope and a Knight of Malta. Sort of squatting, holding kind of in a gangster, I don't know if a gangster pose or not, but they're kind of embracing with the sort of bro hand grasp, and they're making the OK symbol down there. This has to be referencing some famous photo, huh?
I don't know, maybe.
This must be referencing something that I'm not understanding, but it says Fwens or Fweens, which would be a mix between friends and fiends with a cute W instead of the R. But at the very least, it says Fwens, the Pope and the Knights of Malta. Of course, CanaryCry.Party underneath there. Thank you very much, Dove. And we have
Well, there's a PS to the note.
Just a tease.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a PS?
Yeah. There's a PS. It says, the wife was in labor from 1 a.m. to 10 p.m. She just wanted to wait to have the producers assembled before bringing the little baby dove into this world. Thanks to everyone for the prayers. The baby is healthy and everything went well. It was a boy, and If it was a boy, we were going to name him Basil Rogan. But it was a little baby girl, so we settled on the name Emuna.
I would love to know how to pronounce that name.
Emuna.
It looks beautiful spelt out.
Yeah.
Emuna.
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 Thank you again for your prayers.
Is that something backwards? What is that spelled backwards?
Hanumi.
Okay. Are you sure it doesn't say human? Does it say human backwards?
Humane? No, Hanum.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up. I'm trying to... Well, it's gone. I have no idea where it went. Okay, well, long story short, very long story short, it sounds like. Little baby dove is here.
Yep, I found something. Happy. I'm sure this is something.
Did you Google it?
Yeah, it's Emuna, biblical faith. The term Emuna, which is rendered in English as faith or belief, occurs for the first time in the Torah in connection with Abraham. So that makes sense.
There we go. We got it. Thank you very much for the art, and a big old congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Dove. 1 a.m. to 10 p.m. Yeah, Mrs. Dove put in the work there.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, love it. Little canary cry baby flying around now. Another one.
They're flying already, I guess.
They're flying. Yes, they come out flying. Okay, next up.
Yep, we got the next piece of the graphic... I almost said graphic fiction.
The graphic novel from Ryan N. The next page here, we heard was a recording that Ben Guile had made about his coming resurrection, and now we have a live stream here of the casket against a brick wall, and the next cell you hear creak, some puffy smoke coming out, and a big gasp as Ben Guile sits up straight from the coffin, and something is on the table there next to him. He looks to it, and he reaches over.
There's a note next to the little item here that says, Ben, welcome back.
Welcome back. Ooh, L. And, the thing he reaches for is an eye patch. Mm-hmm. And he snaps it onto his head, and now he's staring at us in the last cell here with his eye patch and his head wound. And he says, kept you waiting, huh? And he has risen. Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun. Thank you very much, Ryan N.
Thank you, Ryan N.
And good work continuing to pump out the content, baby. See, this is a little tip for producers out there. If you're an artist or someone who has sort of dreams of, creating something, like in Ryan N's case, a graphic novel. Of course, he got started before us. But there's something about committing to presenting your work on the show on an episode basis that keeps you working. It's some accountability.
Yeah.
And for anybody out there, and Gonz, you and I included, who have tried our hand at big projects, whether they be books or whatever, it's really easy if you don't have accountability to just get let it burnt out or not ignored. Be consistent or motivated. I hope Ryan N is feeling motivated. I sure feel motivated to read the next page, but there is just something to consider for creators out there who are producers of the show. If you're working on something, now we can't sit here and read through pages of a book per episode, but it's just something to think about. It keeps you on your craft, gives you a reason to keep working. So we appreciate everybody's contributions, of course, but that was something I was thinking about when Ryan kept sending in his stuff. I'm like, wow, he's really committing to keeping this stuff going.
Yeah, it's really good too. I'd like to go through all of it again in like a book format, you know.
That's the fun part is, you know, as we continue and he finishes up, who knows when, then there will be an actual product at the end of it. And that'll be fun to, you know, tell people about as well.
Yep.
Who knows? Maybe we need to start a publishing company, Gonz.
Oh, great. More
as if we needed more things to do.
More things.
Yeah.
Okay, one more. Thank you very much to that, Ryan N. Keep it up. The last piece of art here is from David C., and he has a note here. Was playing with some Lego with my daughter while listening, and imagined what would happen if Basil went into the Lego metaverse. Only a lonely samurai Gonz can stop Basil and his googly-eyed Flippy army.
This is fun. You know, I just kind of randomly mentioned one thing you could do is, you know, if you create with Legos, you can send that in. That's exactly what happened here. And for those who are just listening, it looks like a stylized photograph. So he was made some Legos. I think he was with the kids there, that was mentioned. And he created a robotic army of little Lego creatures. There's some sort of scorpion robot. We've got some little bee-boop guys. And riding atop one of these mecha creations is a Basil Lego figure with big old googly eyes and guns, where we stand. Our point of view is behind you as you stand up against the googly-eyed Robo army. And this was very fun. Appreciate it. Who made this?
This was from David C. And you have to read the little bubble, the thought bubble coming from my samurai version here.
Yes, and your samurai little thought bubble here says, I never should have let Basil in the metaverse. It's where I thrive. I've become too powerful for you, Gonzo-san.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. That's all the artwork and the jingles. We appreciate all the producers that provide content for the show. And, just as important as providing content to the show is going and meeting like-minded people in your local community. As long as I can get to the jingle page, where's my jingle meetup jingle?
Canary Cry Meetup.
There you go. I'm just going to start yelling at my soundboard when I can't find something. It'll be its fault. Not my fault. It'll be the soundboard.
Okay.
CanaryCry.Meetups.com. Go there, learn how to start your own meetup, or find out if there's a meetup near you. There's one happening tomorrow, as of this recording. NorCal Canary Cry Meetup. Ciara is the one organizing that one. Iris and B. Gerald Cantor Center for Visual Arts, Stanford, California. So look for that. There's also one scheduled for SoCal, Lincoln Memorial Shrine, December 4th at 1 p.m., and the Washington and Canada Canary Cry Community Meetup, Peace Arch National Park, March 19th, 2022. My gosh, it's 2020. Oh, it's almost 2022. This is madness. Contact Ciara Lauren 93@gmail.com for any of those meetups if you would like to attend. We also have the EU meetup, November 27th. It's coming up this month. Mr. Jag, the Hungry Hungarian, is organizing something out there at the Vienna Christmas Market. So contact Mr. Jag at protonmail.com if you want to attend. And, you know what? I need to refresh this real quick so I can... I did do some updates on the page here. And yes, I did receive a note from Josiah that there is another North Idaho meetup taking place on January 8th, 2022. He did send a note, and I have it just on the website here. It says North Idaho Meetup Part 2 is slated for Saturday, January 8th, 2022. This will be a late Christmas complete with white elephant gift giving. Location is yet to be determined, and flyers on the way. Sure would be cool if y'all can make it. So RSVP Josiah B. Dyer at gmail.com for that one. And the rest of them that we've had, the Kentucky, the Ohio, the Arkansas, the Oahu, Honolulu, those are all pending for more. So there you go.
What is the meetup tomorrow Ciara was talking about?
That is the Iris and B. Gerald Cantor Center for Visual Arts, Stanford, California. It's the NorCal.
The
Northern
NorCal.
California meetup.
Cool, cool. All right. Well, there you go. Again, These meetups are very valuable to your life, folks. They're all producer-led, producer-created, and it's just people wanting to meet other Canarians around them. And you should head to CanaryCry.Meetups.com. You can see if there's a meetup happening near you anytime soon. But if there's not, you can put one on yourself. It's easy. People are doing it all over the world, and we got some instructions there for you. But it's easy. Just pick a place, pick a time, give us some contact info for people to get in touch with you, and just show up and meet other Canarians like you. I guarantee you will be surprised by the amount of people who listen to the podcast who are within driving distance of wherever you are. So go to one. If there's not one, put one on yourself. And it's a great place to, first of all, just socialize in a place with people who you just don't have to tiptoe around. You're all on at least the same page. You're not going to surprise each other. Whether or not you agree about everything is, that's just called being human. But, nobody's going to offend each other or surprise each other or anything like that. It's a very refreshing, so I've heard, very refreshing type of event to go to. And you'll meet the people who, are on the level in case you need a team to assemble a crack team someday. Okay, is that all?
That's it.
CanaryCry.Meetups.com.
Yep. Do you want to do some reviews?
Yeah, do the jingle. I was going to say do the jingle for See You at the Meetups.
This is fun! See you at the meetup.
Okay, now it's time for, let's do some microfiction real quick here.
Oh, okay.
This is from Runk Smash, and he sent it on the Proton Mail, and it goes like this. Basil and Gonz fruitlessly search the strange ship the robots left behind as they ran. I can't believe I got distracted. How will we find them now? Groans Basil. I don't know, replies Gonz, but that clone of Lincoln in a tube sure is creepy. Okay. And the saga continues. Thank you very much, Runk Smash. Now it's time for reviews.
Okay. Here we go. Reviews.
It's Friday, folks. I'm gonna read some reviews here for you, and these are reviews left on Apple Podcasts, which we appreciate very, very much. Every listener should leave a review, and if you haven't yet, please consider doing it now. It only takes about 2 minutes, and if you're already listening to the podcast, you got your podcast open, just leave a review. Come on, it takes 2 minutes, and it's very, very valuable to the show, and it's something that Gonz and I have no control over. This is all you listeners. So when listeners leave reviews, somewhere around 5 or more a week, it activates those algorithms, and the algorithms just fling the show off into the metaverse, and new people who have never heard of it before find the show. It's suggested to them. It's a very valuable part of, or at least aspect of, new people finding the show.
Yeah.
And so, what?
I just said yeah. But also, I'm able to...
I mean, that was very strange. Something is going on over there, Gonz.
Yeah. I usually am able to open the reviews on the browser, but it's not letting me do that now. It's trying to open the app, which is a new development. That did not happen before.
Okay. Well,
So
luckily I got them open
screen.
here.
Yeah.
So I will read them. Yes, so thank you to everybody who left ratings and reviews. We do consider it a personal favor. It takes 2 minutes. If you need any help, we'll tell you how to do that in a second. But I'm going to read a couple of reviews, starting with Hasha in the United States. Leaves a 5-star review that reads like this. Substantial humorous news recap. I stumbled upon this podcast by accident and got hooked. See, folks, by accident. It's probably algorithms had something to do with it. During the summer, as I spent long hours on my lawnmower cutting 9 acres of grass every week, I put on the Canary Cry News Talk podcast, and I listened to these two present the unhighlighted MSM news in a reasonable yet humorous way. At first, I was lost between the themes and subject matter which no one else was talking about, but now I am hooked. Praise be to God for people who take the time to do the research into the hidden corners of the mainstream media to present their listeners with hidden gems that otherwise would be missed. The show is wholesome and free. All they require of us is our voluntary producership. which is a voluntary subscription of whatever amount appeals to us. They also need voluntary time and talent producership. However, there are thousands of listeners who reap the benefits all for free. May the Lord be with you, gentlemen. Bless you always and shield you from all evils hidden and manifest. Well, thank you very much, Hasha.
Thank you.
And yes, lots of volunteers here at the show. It keeps the show going. It's called the value for value model, folks. 9 acres of grass. That is a lot of grass. Next up, we have one from Joby G, 5 stars, and says, "Why I know I'm connecting." And the review simply says, 5 Iron Frenzy, the ska band, which I was obsessed with as a young teenager. So 5 Iron Frenzy, we made some connections out there, Gonz.
Good
some
job.
fellow ska fans. Thank you very much.
Cast the ska net.
Ska net. It's here to control all the trombones to take over the world. Next
The
up,
last trumpet.
J Froggy Dog, sorry, from the United States. 5 stars. I wish I could host these guys in my living room. Oh, wait, I can right here. Dun, dun, dun. J Froggy Dog figured it out, baby.
Yep.
Thank you, J Froggy Dog.
Thank you, J Froggy Dog.
Next, we have Strider CB from the United States, 5 stars. Hands down, my favorite podcast. I've been listening to these guys since CCR and the First Age of Deceit, and I credit them through the Holy Spirit with much of my learning about the strangeness of this world and the mysteries of the Bible. Much love, gentlemen, and I've been meaning to send you guys some value. Okay, well, that's the first step. Thank you very much, Strider CB.
Thank you.
And I think I'll do one more here that reads like this. One of the best episodes. Oh, this is from Mark 1333 from the U.S. 5 stars. One of the best episodes. Thanks, guys, for all your hard work and dedication. This episode about Skiba and Dizdar is great. Thank you. Well, thank you, Mark.
Which, yeah, kind of bad news on that front.
What?
I think I'm not 100%. I'm hearing it from my wife here, but it looks like Shelley Dizdar has also passed away.
Oh, that's very sad. Yeah. Wow. What interesting timing on that.
Yeah.
Do we know any info about that?
I'm not 100% sure on it, so I don't want to speak out of term here, but
Yeah. Well, we'll look into that first.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Mark 1333. Now, we've got a couple more reviews I'm going to say for next Friday.
Okay.
But reviews for November have been extremely low. So I know we've been behind in reading these, folks.
It's November 5th.
Even so, we only have 1 review in the last 5 days, which is not enough.
All right.
So people out there, if you have not left a rating or a review yet, now is the time. We need to get a bump in that. We need to bump that graph up quite a bit for this coming week, but I believe we can do it. We're setting the quota for 5 ratings and reviews. By next Friday, I'll be reading them on the show. Come on, folks. Don't let us down. We got to get these algorithms back up and running.
Fight the algo war with us.
We got to fight the algo war. Unfortunately, it's just like part of our existence here as a podcaster. But we can't do without you. It's something we have no control over. It's all you folks. So there's enough of you out there that haven't left reviews. Please take the time to do it. It only takes a couple minutes, and it's easy to do. If you're already listening on the podcast app, that you should know how to do this. But if you're not, if you have an Apple device, whether it's a computer, tablet, or phone, search that device for Apple Podcasts. It's a little purple icon. Click on that. Search for Canary Cry News Talk. Subscribe, and then leave a review. It's that easy. It literally takes less than 2 minutes if you know what you're doing here. So please help us out. We appreciate it. All right. What else? Is that it?
That's it.
That's it. Let's wake up.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Space Pope Reptilian.
Here we go.
The Debunker Bunker.
Ooh, yay. It's been a while since we had a Debunker Bunker.
Yeah,
Gonz. We saved this from last episode. You got a journey to take us on here.
Yeah, just a real brief one here. And, there's some interesting stuff out there with claims of arrests, and that's nothing new. The most recent one here.
It's very Q-esque, it feels.
It is. People shared this with me over the last few days. And the website here, not secure website, by the way, murderbydecree.com. And it's by Kevin Annett. Sounds legit, right?
Sounds like a legit place to get your information.
The headline is Breaking Global News, Monday, November 1st, 2021. Arrest order and warrant issued against Pope Francis by international court. $10,000 reward and amnesty offered to detain Jorge Bergoglio for crimes against humanity.
Now, that doesn't sound like enough money
to
arrest the Pope.
Yeah, I would love for this to be true. Obviously, a lot of issues with the papacy and historically, crimes.
Actual crimes, again, not conspiracy.
Nope.
Actual crimes covering up child abuse.
And the article here, I'll read a little bit. I won't go too deep into it here, but it says Brussels, New York, Vancouver. The court that forced the resignation of Pope Benedict in 2013 has issued an arrest order and warrant against Pope Francis, Jorge Bergoglio, for crimes against humanity, along with a $10,000 reward for his capture. The International Common Law Court of Justice, ICLCJ, issued the order and reward today, along with an offer of amnesty from prosecution to any Catholic official or clergy who assists in the detaining of Bergoglio. A copy of the order and warrant follows, according to the court statement that accompanied its order. Quote, our prosecutor has in his possession documented evidence and eyewitness affidavits that attest to Jorge Bergoglio's personal complicity in child rape, torture, and trafficking, ritual killing, medical genocide, obstruction of justice, and a general command responsibility for mass murder and other crimes perpetrated by the Church of Rome. Bergoglio is subject to prosecution as an indictable individual under common and international law, and he will be prosecuted by our court. We are offering a reward and immunity from prosecution to anyone, and especially to any of Bergoglio's church associates who assist us in detaining and prosecuting him. Okay, so, and then this is, there's a guy here, the document is in there, it's a PDF, but strangely, the PDF is labeled ICLCJ.pdf. This is always a little suspicious there.
Yeah, the names. Yeah, this is a classic.
Yeah. So, I'm curious. Obviously, this kind of thing would be much bigger news if it's a little more true. Well, I'm not saying that it's not true, but
no. Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's what this type of information, whether it be dismiss or regular information, sort of traffics in, which is, well, we can just make a video and put this out and say whatever we want because, of course, the mainstream media wouldn't report on the papacy getting, it's this very sketchy part of questioning the mainstream narrative where it does allow for sort of untoward individuals or organizations to completely fabricate something with the blanket defense of, well, why haven't I heard this anywhere? That seems like a pretty big piece of news that would be on the news. It allows for the blanket defense of, well, of course the mainstream doesn't report it because it's all the lizard people.
Right.
And then you are suddenly faced with the choice of like, okay, well, I guess it's true then, or realize that there are people and organizations that take that psyop for granted and just put out whatever they want for whatever reason. And not for nothing, when I say individuals or organizations, that could also include alphabet organizations. I'm not just saying it's like some rogue misinformation, but it could be sort of an Operation Truth Q type of thing. See who latches on, see who shares it, see who pushes
especially if there's a document associated with it. How many people downloaded? What are the IPs?
Yep. Every download, yes, every download is on record. Every IP that looks at it is on record. It's another one of these sort of basically little honeypots for for individuals
Data
who might
collection.
be trafficking in alternative information.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what immediately comes to mind for me. But
Sure.
okay, keep going.
So I did a basic search engine search for the International Common Law Court of Justice.
Good.
And I used Bing, Microsoft Bing, as the first thing there.
Good.
And the very first result at the very top, murderbydecree.com.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so that didn't help. Well, of course, there is the ICJCIJ.org, which I'll get to in a moment.
Okay.
When I did the same thing with Google, the ICJCIJ.org, the International Court of Justice, is the first link.
Okay.
And most of the information is based on that the I use presearch as well. I don't know if you've heard of presearch, Basil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and same thing. That's their CIJ website is the first link that's available regarding this institution. And when you go to the website,
nobody is talking about this institution except for murderbydecree.com. And then whatever website they have put up here.
And the organization, the link that you get is the International Court of Justice, the ICJ, and it's the principal judicial organ of the United Nations. Of course, this is where all the the whole concept of or just earlier on, it was formed in 1946, April, post-World War II. The seat of the court is at the Peace Palace in The Hague, that's Netherlands. Of the 6 principal organs of the United Nations, it is the only one not located in New York. And the court's role is to settle in accordance with international law, legal disputes submitted to it by states and to give advisory opinions on legal questions referred to it by authorized UN organs and specialized agencies.
Yeah, so that's another part that doesn't quite make sense, which is this is like a UN organization.
Yeah, if they're UN, why are they going to be, and they're so in bed with the papacy and the Vatican, why would they be like, an award for finding Bergoglio? Like, what?
And corporate media.
Yeah.
Like, why would the corporate media not report something that the UN Court of Justice is putting out? Like, it just doesn't track. None of it tracks.
Yeah, and there's the International Court of Justice website has a document search engine on the website.
So they put all their documents. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So I threw in Pope, and I'm doing it live as well just to demonstrate. Pope Francis. See if there's any documents that mention Pope Francis. 0 results. Okay. What about papacy? Let's try papacy.
Okay.
0 results.
What about Jorge Bergoglio?
I tried that already, but I'll do it again.
Okay.
How do you spell that?
By the way, he's doing this live on video for the listeners. That's why we're doing it.
Let me grab the spelling real quick, because that's not the easiest name to spell.
Martin in the chat says you need a case number. Does the document given by Murder by Decree have like a case number or anything on that document? Again, the document simply named the acronym of the court.
Yeah, if that. Okay, so let's see. Let me go look at this document here. Breaking. ICLE. Okay, is a lawful court record established January 1st, 2012 by the International Tribunal of Crimes of Church and State. And why is Murder by Decree's link in the document? If this is supposed to be a...
in the court document is a link to Murder by Decree.
Maybe it's just a cover letter? I don't know. Arrest order and warrant.
It looks like Murder by Decree created their own PDF.
That's what it looks like to me. But I mean, is there any... Okay, hold on. Let's see. For more
scroll
information,
down. See if there's like an actual
so there's a
contact document.
Hold on. For more information, contact the public prosecutor of the International Common Law Court of Justice at ITCCS office at protonmail.com and angelfire101 at protonmail.com.
Angelfire101. Oh, please. They just gave their own email addresses to contact.
That is really shady, isn't it?
It would be a UN.gov email if it was a real.
Okay, so anyway, Bergoglio, there's nothing. But here's the thing that I want to show. If you type in warrant, like I was saying, are there any warrants? Yes, tons. 2 pages of results that mention warrant in some kind of document.
Okay.
On the International Court of Justice website.
So it's something that they do.
This is something that they would publish. If it's true, they would probably publish the documentation on their own website, which not there. If you
you read through the list. There's not one for Jorge Bergoglio.
No, not a mention. So. So
there's not a warrant for the Pope's arrest, you're telling me. There's shocking news that there's some fake news about a fake arrest warrant.
If there is,
and a fake document on a website called Murder by Decree that has it. For more information, contact
Angelfire 101
Angelfire 101 at protonmail.com. Yeah. No, don't think so, folks.
If it's true, then there would be other ways for the public to independently verify such things are out there.
There would be anything. There would be any, even for weirdos to like dig in and try to find if it's real, and which we did, and there's nothing. There's nothing. So there you go. It's an example of the type of, I believe, the type of Operation Truth, Bolshevik, QAnon type of operation trying to scoop up. It's like a dragnet. Who on the internet would look at this? Who would download the document? Who would share it? Where's this document getting sent? I guarantee that there's some tracking code within that document. So if you downloaded that, they know you did, and they know who you sent it to.
There's also there's an International Common Law Court of Justice, Vienna. And it's a government agency from Austria, but they're also part of the UN. So I don't know. I don't think that there's much weight to this story. If there was, and look, I'm not saying that they're 100% sure that this is not true. It's just there's really
we can find no evidence, not a single piece of evidence to verify that Murder by Decree, being the only person reporting this, the only website to report this. This is a classic little honeypot to find who some internet ne'er-do-wells that they're trying to put on their list.
Yeah, and I'm noticing that this type of headline story, whatever. Some people that I know, they'll send me stuff like this, and they'll be kind of amped about it, which is understandable. Like if there's truth regarding any of this, it's certainly stuff that the public should know. But I've seen too much of this recently, where I get an email or a note or something in there, or a text message. Oh my gosh, have you seen this? And it's a lot of it is like, okay, but.
Did you take a single second to I don't literally just somebody's blog.
Most people don't spend the time or don't want. I don't know. Most people don't have the time really to be 100%.
No, I mean I totally
That's
understand.
Why we're here,
No, nothing against those people. I'm just saying that this is how this stuff spreads around, and for no other reason than to just get people amped.
Yeah, they get amped about stuff. Yeah, especially the people that have. Recently awoken to the realities of the world. It's very enticing to latch on to the hype of whatever comes out. And I do think that a lot of people are realizing that something's not right. And obviously the last couple of years have made a lot of people aware of the distrust of institutions and governments and banks and all of it. So it's a ripe time for the disinfo, like the true disinfo, not the kind of disinfo that the mainstream suggests.
Not the corporate disinfo.
Corporate disinfo, yeah. Plenty of room for these operations to float stuff out there to see what they can gather. It's all, like you said, data collection projects by these groups. If not deliberately, then piggybacking on some people making some pretty wild claims. whether knowingly or not. So again, we're not coming to any hard conclusions, but just something to keep in mind, because I had a couple people share this, and I wanted to do my due diligence to at least look into it a little bit. And
on the ladder, just the ladder of trying to discover if something is true, or the staircase of truth, this story, you can't even take a step onto the first step.
Yeah, that's, at the very least, sometimes you hear something, you read something, you go, oh, that sounds a little crazy, let me look it up. And then you get amped because you're like, oh, there's some stuff here. But then you can sort of get into the details, and usually there's a little bit of...
I mean, the very first step on that ladder of trying to figure out if something is true is even one other outlet reporting it without directly referring to the original outlet
themselves.
Yeah. So is anybody else reporting it besides murder.com or whatever, murder by decree, which is already so sketchy, but is somebody else reporting it? No, they're not at all. So you can't even take that first step. Okay, well, let's try another one. Is it, can we find any provenance to the documents? Nope, zero. Okay, well, we can't take a step there. Is there anything? There's literally nothing. It's just a blog post on a website.
Well, plus the arresting world leaders narrative has been out there for a decade, at least. I remember 2012.
Right. Well, and the QAnon, I mean, that's the biggest big problem with the QAnon. It's like everybody was supposed to be arrested. Not a single one happened.
Well, 2012, it was David Wilcock, the New Age guy, who came out and said, like, oh, they're going to arrest all the bankers. There's going to be the shaming, and we're going to walk into the ascension, and we got it cleared, blah, blah. It was the same kind of deal.
That's the other thing. Yeah. The thematic, there's just like a thematic narrative element to it that is like, okay, we've literally seen this storyline be presented and not play out dozens of times.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so
well, good job on that.
Yeah, my 3 search engine searches of the term. The organization trying to
that is literally more than hundreds of people did. So
apparently, yeah. The Bing one was the most suspicious. Because I used Bing first. I'm like, oh wow, really? Murder by decree is like a big banner at the top. They're the ones
like they paid for the advertisement on the blog post.
Yeah, they really beat out the algos on this. The name of this institution. They really just a monopoly on the name of the international court.
Yeah, comes up before the even
before
court's
the real
website.
Thing. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
All right. Let's wrap the show with a quick Nephilim update here.
Nephilim update.
We got a couple here. These are more updates, but as we move into
that is what the Nephilim updates for.
Yeah, I know. As we move into the metaverse here, I think these types of stories will become more interesting and important to keep track of. SegmentNext.com. Darksiders 4 might be coming as new promo art released. And it says here, back in 2018, Gunmetal Games released Darksiders 3, a long-awaited next entry in the Darksiders series of action RPG games. Now, it seems like Darksiders 4 might be on the horizon, according to a piece of Darksiders promo art that was recently posted by the artists named, and it's crossed out, so I don't know if it means it changed or is wrong, Anton Levrushkin on his ArtStation account. Darksiders fans immediately pounced on the art, claiming that it looked very similar to Lilith, one of the mothers of the race known as Nephilim, and the 4 horsemen are part of, and who they killed to cement their loyalty to the Charred Council. While noting it, while nothing is confirmed yet, this could still be big news drop, at least in the realm of the Darksiders. The Darksiders series focuses around the aftermath of Armageddon, where due to the actions of angels and demons, the end of the world happened too early, leaving humanity extinct and causing one of the horsemen of the apocalypse, War, to be blamed. The first game ended with the other horsemen coming to War's aid, but we don't know if we'll pick up that story thread again anytime soon. Each Darksider game has focused on a separate horseman as they adventure through creation to overcome certain threats, with war, death, and fury being portrayed so far, while strife The fourth was a main character in the side game Darksiders Genesis. He is yet to get a game of his own, so Darksiders 4 might focus around him. And it kind of goes on here, a couple more paragraphs. But there you go. Just, some games, they come out, nobody plays them, and they go away. But certain franchises, they may not be huge, but they can stick around. They can publish part 1, part 2, part 3, like Darksiders here. I think this is their 4th game or 5th game, if you include Genesis.
It's a fairly pop. I mean, it's got a cult following for sure.
Yeah, and I wonder how many of those people that truly follow the game have any idea that there's all this, not like pure one-to-one reality per se, but just a narrative that goes back to the Bible. Genesis 6.
Probably none. I mean, that's the interesting thing about the use of Nephilim in the media is it's become it's just a type of character now. I mean, it shows up all the time, and I don't think anybody knows or even asks about it. It's like, oh yeah, Nephilim. That's with like an angel and a demon had a baby. Yeah, I saw that in Diablo. Oh, I saw that in Darksiders. Oh yeah, everybody has it. It's as common as like an orc, or some other fantastical creature.
Yeah. And along those same lines here, this is another game. We've actually talked about this other game here. It's called Dawn of the Monsters. Ooh. And they are launching in 2022. Dawn of the Monsters launches an early 22 update. They have a trailer here. And this is the cooperative kaiju beat-em-up game. Dawn of the Monsters will launch for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, blah, blah, blah. Publisher WayForward and developer 13 AM Games has announced Dawn of Monsters is a cooperative kaiju beat 'em up. I already read that. Players take control of powerful monsters in order to take on the evil Nephilim, a horde of creatures that are hell-bent on destroying the planet. Liberate 4 major metropolitan areas from Toronto to Tokyo in this epic action game.
Ooh.
And I think we've played. There was a kind of an early version of the trailer, and I think they're showing more gameplay here now. I have a 13-second clip from the trailer, and this is kind of what the vibe is here.
The Nephilim have breached the wall that separates New Toronto from the infested Old City. The area is already evacuated. Clear the ground of Nephilim while we find the breach.
And all the kaiju there, and the people in suits fighting them. I don't know.
Fun.
Another game that just Nephilim just outright out there, bad guys, evil giant monsters. And the name of the game, Dawn of the Monsters. It's like they're coming back or something, and they just they're going to come through in game form first, test the waters, see if the people are ready to fight or not.
This is funny. This segment that you do, the Nephilim update often includes video games. Mm-hmm. It's like if I did a segment called, like, I don't know, Angel Update, Angel Spotters, and it was all around sports, like Angels in the Outfield style. And I just do a bunch of sports recaps with my minimal knowledge of sports ball, but doing a great job of letting you know how the Angels are getting involved in sports ball. I think I might bring that on. That might be a good balance. But you're getting your video game vocabulary is improving over the years.
Oh, it's improving. Okay, I thought you. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
This is a compliment. You're starting to be able to navigate the video game space quite well.
Well, I dove in headfirst into NFT land, Basil. I'm catching up on the lingo.
True. You're a true metaverse baby now.
WGMI, bro.
I don't even know what that means, but
you're not up with the.
I think we need to censor it. I'm not sure if
we don't need to
it's
censor
safe
that.
for work.
No, it's totally safe. WGMI. Come on, chat. You guys know what I'm talking about. Chat.
I don't think they do.
Hello,
chat. Please back me up, chat. Come on.
Come on. Somebody has to know what WGMI is.
Sorry, Gonz, you're on your own, buddy.
Oh, man.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We appreciate your attention, and we appreciate you listening to the show as well. Remember, we will be back on Monday. Monday will be November the 8th, the 8th of November.
Adam 42 got it. in the chat. Adam42 is connected.
He's so woke. All right. So be back on Monday. That will be for episode 408 of Canary Cry News Talk. Yes, 408. And remember, we'll need some producers for that episode. It's the only way we can keep the show going. And I do want to take a second and thank all the producers for episode 407. Let's see here. And that includes our executive producer, our dear eternal procrastinator, who procrastinated no more, came in to executive produce the show. Also, thanks to our associate executive producers. That includes JC, Aaron J, Anonymous, and Jacob W. Thank you guys so much for coming in as well. And thank you to the rest of our producers, which includes producer Cynthia, Amanda P, Brooke B, Heather Russ, 57 Chevy Girl, Sir Samon's Night of the Fishes, Sir Sigrid the Beast, Doctor Who Dundat, Scott K, Morv, Gail M, Sir Casey the Shield Knight, Adam 42, Child of God, Shagan, Runk Smash, and Ciara. Thank you guys so much. We also, I see someone didn't make it on the list, Gonzo. That is Andrea L, who came in a little bit late.
Oh, I thought I typed that in.
I didn't see it. Maybe I skipped it.
Oh, you know what might have happened is, sometimes the document just doesn't do it. Go ahead.
Sure. Whatever the case may be. Thank you, Andrea L. as well. And I missed it during the segment, but Andrea L. did send in a message, so I want to read it now. Thank you very much, producer Andrea. And it says here, if I could give thousands, I would. I so appreciate both of your labors in Christ, along with your senses of humor. You make some dark days lighter with the jokes and shenanigans. Thank you very much, producer Andrea.
Oh, I'm glad she knows that they're shenanigans.
Yes, shenanigans all over the place here.
People miss that.
And remember, you can become a producer of the next episode of Canary Cry News Talk. And again, not every single listener needs to produce every single episode if they don't want to, but please consider becoming a producer at some point. You'll feel so much better, and you will hear your name on the show. That's always fun. And you'll be part of the elite team of producers that keep the show going, and you'll be taking responsibility for your own media future instead of letting corporations decide and dictate what is worth existing and not. And you'll be joining hands with producers across the world, keeping this show going. So you can become a producer by heading to patreon.com/CCNT, or even better, heading on over to CanaryCryRadio.com/support. CanaryCryRadio.com/support. That's right, CanaryCryRadio.com/support. So many ways to do it, and thank you so much. You can now. Here's the way. Here's the way. This is the way. This is the way.
This is the way.
There's other ways to produce the show, not just financially, but you can do it with your time and your talent. If you're a creative person, a musician, an artist, a Lego master, whatever the case may be, create something for the show, and you can send that on over to CanaryCryRadio@gmail.com if you like it easy, or CanaryCryRadio@protonmail.com if you like to keep it sneaky, cyber sneaky.
Sorry.
Yes.
This reminded me of the Proton Mail address in the document.
Yes,
that is just
murderbyDecree.com.
Murder by Decree, yeah.
If you want to contact the official UN secretary, email murderbyDecree@protonmail.com or angelfire101. Yes, so there you go. Thank you to all of our creative producers for adding such valuable content to the show. And of course, thank you to our time stampers and our jingle makers and everybody who makes this show happen. But if nothing else, make sure to leave a review, leave a rating and a review. It really helps out the show. That's a great way to do it. Make sure to head over to CanaryCryMeetups.com, find a meetup near you. And if there isn't one near you, start one yourself. Do it. Do it now. You'll be very happy that you did. And so will we when you send us your meetup report. But other than those things, you can go ahead and share the show. Share it on your social media. Click that little share button. You know how it works. Send it out to your friends. Put it on your Telegram group, your Discord channel, your subreddit, whatever you do. Put it out there, folks. It really goes a long way to making it findable. You never know who's just going to click that link. Don't be embarrassed. You're opening somebody's eyes to the news analysis and deconstruction that has been evading them for so long. You can also get a little bit more creative with the way that you share the show. There's lots of online educational resources. You can learn to code. Why don't you start there? Go ahead and learn how to create virtual reality environments. And you know what? No virtual reality environment is complete without a massive horde of pesky birds that dive bomb your favorite podcaster and spy on him for the federal government. But instead, what you're going to do is create a flock of polygonal virtual birds who not only are beautiful to look at, but sing beautiful music. Those birds will fly off into the metaverse, and all those digital metaverse bird watchers. Yes, there's metaverse bird watchers. There's a community for everybody on the internet. They will be sneaking around the digital forest with their digital binoculars, wearing their VR headsets. They'll see your beautiful birds, and those birds will open their beaks and sing out a song, and the song will tell them that Canary Cry News Talk is the best place on the internet to find your corporate media analysis and deconstruction, and learn the truth. Learn just how all those government birds are spreading lies and deception for their own centralized organizational power over the regular man. And your little digital birds will become the songbirds of a generation, setting free the minds of metaverse citizens all over the world.
So poetic.
That's just one way you could do it. You don't got to do it that way, but just if you're looking for a more creative way, that's one thing you could do. We like to call it rattling cages, and if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to him, you grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages.
Hey, stop that!
You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy.
Leave the bird alone!
Never! Rattle a few cages! Rattle a few cages!
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right, just ask Noah. All right, Gonz, any last words?
Have a great weekend, everybody. Stick around for the playlist. We got the Psalm 40 track there at the end.
That's right. Some
as well as some other Junes?
Some Junes. Yes. Some slow slaps, as they call them.
Yes.
All right, everybody, again, make sure to tune in. Let's see. We'll be back on November 8th. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Gonna die.
I do it with everyone.
He's a Satanist from one of the Satanist churches here where they sacrifice babies.
We should invite fewer people to be born.
State minority, keep yapping, man. Get vaccinated. Anytime. Boy, it's really a productive segment, man. I wrote the bill. Man, give me a break.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up.
Leave the bird alone!
I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
Give me a break.
I waited patiently for the Lord. He inclined to me and heard my cry. He drew me up from the pit of destruction, out of the miry bog, and set my feet upon a rock, making my steps secure. He put a new song in my mouth, a song of praise to our God. Many will see and fear, and put their trust in the Lord. Blessed is the man who makes the Lord his trust, who does not turn to the proud, to those who go astray after a lie. You have multiplied, O Lord my God, your wondrous deeds and your thoughts toward us, none can compare with you. I will proclaim and tell of them, yet they are more than can be told. In sacrifice and offering you have not delighted, but you have given me an open ear. Burnt offering and sin offering you have not required. Then I said, Behold, I have come. In the scroll of the book it is written of me, I delight to do your will, O my God, your law is within my heart. I have told the glad news of deliverance in the great congregation. Behold, I have not restrained my lips, as you know, O Lord. I have not hidden your deliverance within my heart. I have spoken of your faithfulness and your salvation. I have not concealed your steadfast love and your faithfulness from the great congregation. As for you, O Lord, you will not restrain your mercy from me. Your steadfast love and your faithfulness will ever preserve me. For evils have encompassed me beyond number. My iniquities have overtaken me, and I cannot see. They are more than the hairs of my head. My heart fails me. Be pleased, O Lord, to deliver me. O Lord, make haste to help me. Let those be put to shame and disappointed altogether who seek to snatch away my life. Let those be turned back and brought to dishonor who delight in my hurt. Let those be appalled because of their shame who say to me, Aha, aha. But may all who seek you rejoice and be glad in you. May those who love your salvation say continually, Great is the Lord. As for me, I am poor and needy, but the Lord takes thought for me. You are my help and my deliverer. Do not delay, O my God.
We're all gonna die.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact.
We're all gonna die.
Fun fact. Another fun fact.
Brings me back to my Screamo days.
Give me a break. We're all gonna die.
Feed him more.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You and you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on.
Hunt you down and make you pay. State minority. Come on, man. This is not about freedom or personal choice. I don't remember.
We're all gonna die.
I'll make you fat and sad
warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths!